Hugs and Huck, your favorite neighborhood podcaster and part-time actor, here to welcome you to our annual HoRRoRWEEN special. And what do we have on our HoRRoRWEEN specials? We have fun guests, we have fans, we have friends, everyone getting together onto the action. And why is it called HoRRoRWEEN? Because we love the spooky, the macabre, and the horrific. We talk about the season itself, and we talk about the movies we love. Those scary movies that keep you all cold and shivering in the dark. And you might ask, Alex, why do you love Halloween so much? Same reason I love being an actor so much. The costumes. There's nothing more freeing than putting on a costume. Being someone different for an hour, a day. Getting to live a little. Be able to say things you don't normally say. And do things you normally wouldn't do. But, of course, we all know the best part of Halloween will always be the candy. Now, I don't know about any of you guys, but when I was a kid, the best part of Halloween was going and grabbing a good old trash bag and going door to door begging for candy. I mean, nowadays you got all those small little cloth things, but nothing holds a candle to the classic black trash bag. Now, you might say, Alex, who are you today? Who are you trying to be? Well, today, I am rock and roll prick, lead guitarist of Father's Prick, one of the greatest rock and roll bands of the 70s and the 80s. We were so big that women were throwing themselves through our bedroom windows and begging for 5 minutes of our time, if you know what I mean. But a great thing about being so big and famous during that time, some of our fans are pretty big and famous too. Like one that we're going to be talking to right now, Mr. Uwe Boll. You might know him as the director of Blood Rain, Assault on Wall Street, 1968 Tunnel Rats. Yeah, he's a huge fan of us. He loves a lot of our songs. Some of his favorite songs are Fist Shaft, one of my personal favorites, and also Ram Rage, which is, I have to say, one of the few times they actually let me sing. I mean, being the guitarist, I'm usually behind father-daughter, who's like always the lead vocalist on our chords. But hey, that time they let me use my melodious voice. Oh yeah. Anyway, sit down, relax, and you're going to listen to Father, daughter, and myself sitting down with the great Uwe Boll and talk about the season we love so much, and also talk about the movies we love so much. Rock out.
Uwe, welcome to HoRRoRWEEN.
Wait, I know. I didn't dress up actually, unfortunately, but we don't have Halloween here right now. My son ordered his Halloween costume yesterday. He is a blow-up banana.
Very cool.
You know that thing where you are like, the face comes out, you peel the banana, and there's your head coming out. And I warned him that it would be very uncomfortable to go trick-or-treating because it's kind of, you cannot move freely. But first he wanted to order the sumo wrestler blow up.
Okay.
And I told him, no, I'm not doing it because you will not go 2 houses and then you will get out of it because it's like, what do you want to do? Total bullshit. So the banana is okay. The maximum he can get.
Yeah. I was a pumpkin once, so I know the deal with the big, and it's a lot because it's not heavy, but like just getting in and out of, if you're going up people's walkways, passing people, standing in their doorways and stuff, it gets to be a lot.
Yeah, it's a bit cumbersome, you know, moving around with that.
Yeah, and that now costumes you blow up so that basically you still stand, but in like you're part of a duck or something, you know, like, and so you have in front of you like 4 feet, 5 feet of shit, behind you 5 feet of stuff. I mean, you cannot move at all. You barely make it through the front gate of a house to get to the house and stuff like this, and it's like totally unpractical. That is stuff you can put on if you're on the party, like at the Halloween party somewhere, stationary, standing around. But to do this going from house to house is like will never work.
Yeah.
So.
Terrifier is killing it right now in the theatrical box office world. Who would have seen it coming? I know we're talking about how it's beautiful to see a film made for very little money kind of climb to the ranks like that has and overthrow Joker 2, which that's a feat. Now I know Joker 2 has been doing really bad. I haven't heard one person see it that said they liked it. Which is very weird because the first one was so good. All three of us are fans of it. And yeah.
Totally. Masterpiece, the first one. But
Yeah.
it's strange that now when you read like the Hollywood Reporter and stuff like this, they're writing the critical acclaimed Joker 2 is hated by the audience. But I don't think it was critical acclaimed at all. I think
Right.
only one time like standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival where everybody gets standing ovations, like the biggest crap shit gets like 5 to 10 minutes standing ovation. What I
Yeah.
think is the most silly thing in festivals. I can never imagine as an audience that I stand there and clap for 10 minutes, then I think I'm in the Chinese parliament or something, or in Russia, where you get shot if you stop clapping. You know,
Yeah.
like when you feel like, what the fuck I'm doing here, you know? And that is so absurd. And then from this screening on, everything was negative I read about the film, that it's not working, that it's pretentious, that people think, what's the point of the whole movie? What's the story? So I didn't read that it's a critical acclaimed movie.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
if this is critical acclaimed, House of the Dead was critical acclaimed. I mean, that's a totally, it's also didn't happen, you know, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean the great thing about Terrifier 2 and you know being so successful and really overshadowing the fact that going with like what we've said and what you said about you know Joker 2 that you know people getting sick and tired of pretty much this placating bullshit from Hollywood where they're just trying to pump out sequels with no I would say regard to the original and trying to they just you know says hey let's throw in Lady Gaga make her Harley Quinn let's make it a musical and it's like you're departing from what made the original good and now you're going in a different area which is not going to be as good no one's going to like it and I think it actually is for a great thing that they did it because it then shows that when Terrifier came out that people want something different, something new. I mean, Terrifier is pushing boundaries. It's doing stuff that you're not going to find from a mainstream Hollywood movie, and I think that's a really good thing that a independent film like that is getting some love over a Halloween. I mean, Hollywood darling like Joker 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we said that in our pre-talk that the times where you had like whatever Blair Witch, Memento, this kind of films that came out of the blue and turned into something.
Yeah.
They're over. And now you have this absurd thing where basically only in a way sequels or whatever work, you know, but I what I think is they work because they put so much money and advertising in. Then they think it works, but basically indirectly they spend the same amount of, in advertising as they make in box office. So they're only exchanging dollars. You know, it's not like when I see, for example, next week or whatever, 2 weeks away from now comes that Hal Berry horror film. where she's in that little hut in the forest, and you can only leave the hut if you're on a rope. And my friend Dan Clark was the line producer, and they really shot 60 days and spent $40 million, you know, and you think like, why?
Right.
I mean, what, you know, it's like, and I bet you will see that it's a big budget horror movie, but it doesn't mean that it works at all. And when I read the first review, it was so negative because it was so absurd, because her boy, like the son, whatever, he runs out of the hut and is not tied up, and then she brings him back. And you think like, what's the whole spell, right? So I mean, if you definitely die if you're not on a rope. You remember the movie? I think it's similar. They just spin that story around from that Sandra Bullock film, where you had to put you go out and you have to
the bird something.
Bird Box.
Bird Box.
Bird
Yeah.
Box. Yeah, you know, and that was not a bad movie, but it was also kind of, when I watched it, it got kind of boring after a while, you know, because you feel like, what the fuck? I mean, you know, it doesn't make any, like, you put something on, and then came all that horror movies where you couldn't talk. What was this again?
The Quiet Place.
The Quiet Place. I think the idea, the first one, right? And then it's like continues, and you feel like, yeah, I don't know. You know, it's just like kind of a silly idea. And then it's very perfectionistic, very good filmmaking, very good actors, but you feel like overall it's bullshit. I like more like whatever George Romero's Dawn of the Dead, you know, because they have a clear setup. If you're in the fucking mall and you know, I know the zombies coming, but this is something, it's easier for me to identify with a situation like this, because you only have to accept that the zombie attack, but you don't have to accept why there is a rope and you cannot go away from the house without a rope. I mean, what should happen if you do it? You know, like, I mean, but in what world you have to live that this would have any impact?
Yeah.
You know, it's absurd. And that is where I always like this kind of like fade away as an audience member, where I feel like when I saw the trailer with the rope, then I have to say, I just don't want to watch the film, because I don't want to watch 100 minutes how the rope is on or not, and what horrible things happening when the rope is not on. And then give a shit.
You find out it's just like a metaphor for like something that keeps her safe, and it's not even real. It's just like she feels there's a rope there so she can feel protected type deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like her umbilical cord.
Yeah, her umbilical cord. Yeah, to the.
Yeah, but for example, look at The Thing from John Carpenter. That made sense, right? That was horror. I love that film. I like horror films where you only have to accept basically one or two things are off. You know, like you have to accept there are zombies, or you have to accept there are vampires. You have to, you know, but you don't have to accept the most absurd stuff where you know, like, where it doesn't make any sense. Like, oh, you cannot go out of the house without blocking your eyes.
Right.
I mean, you know, like that's the whole thing where I felt like, yeah, but why not actually? You know what I mean? There was not the sun up that I got blinded and die from the, and I'm not a vampire, means the sun cannot really kill me. And all that stuff is then harder for me to make it entertaining. Then I think overall it's just laughable what's happening.
We should make a movie where they have to fill their nostrils, because if they smell something, they die. You know what I mean?
I like that one.
Yeah,
and then they all die because they can't breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we show everybody walks all the time and it's farting the whole time, but nobody smells it. You only hear like, and then you have everybody like, for me it's okay. So that would be the comedy version, you know. So I wrote a concept for a horror film like 2 years ago and sent it to Netflix and so on, but nothing happened. But there would be like kind of sleepaway camp, and you have like a guy gets injured, like normal, like think they go on the water with a canoe and everything. Guy gets injured, so they have to bring him to the hospital. And then after they're like 4 adults, the rest are like 14 years old, 15 years old. And then these 2 bring him to the hospital. But on the road out of the forest, there is like visual, like deliverance hillbillies, basically.
Yeah.
They stop them and they catch them and put them into their like cave kind of thing to torture them and rape them and so on.
Yeah.
And the other guys getting them very worried that nobody comes back. Like the next morning, they're still not back. So the other 2 adults are basically alone, and they feel, okay, let's just pack everybody in. We're driving with our camp mobile out of it, but the camp mobile is defect. It doesn't work anymore. So the hillbillies did that. And they are basically this kind of similar to Mother's Day and stuff. They're just like crazy people. They love to torture people, you know. So and then it gets like one by one. You know, the one is like floating down the river and gets like catched in the thing, doesn't get out, and drowns in the river because he cannot get out of the net, like a fish, basically, right? So, and stuff like very gruesome death. And I would have total fun doing that film because it's this kind of similar to what you had in Final Destination and so on, where you don't know. You're excited because you know, oh, they're all getting killed, but they're getting killed in the most absurd, brutal shit, right? So, and that is stuff, I like stuff like this. So, you know.
It's real life. It's real life, too. You know, it's possible for you to stumble into the wrong people. Happens every day, you know what I mean?
Yeah, you know, it's this kind of... and you cannot, like, then you have the typical thing. You're deep in the forest, the cell phone is not really working, you know, stuff like this. Then the cops come, like one guy gets the cell phone connection, the cops coming out, but they're getting killed too. So they cannot help anybody, you know. And then, of course, you have maybe 2 or 3 kids, they go against the hillbillies. They, you know, they start killing them too. And, but in the end, I had the bad guys win. They're just packing everything together. They take the suitcase, the tent, the car, everything is cleaned out, you know. And then it's like newspapers where you have this a miracle, like 30 kids and 4 adults gone from the surface of the earth. Like, you know, like this kind of like, where are these guys? We assume they got kidnapped to Mexico, or, you know, like, because you have nothing left, and they're all gone, including the car and everything. Then the people think the adults kidnapped the kids.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, film will maybe never happen, but maybe
I love it. I say that you got to do it sometime. We got to find a way to make that happen. That's all I'm saying, right?
I like that Mother's Day reference too. That's a deep cut. You know what I mean? That's a really fun flick with Sophie. I forget what they call that at the end. Spoiler alert, at the end there's like a half human, half beast thing that lives in the woods. And it jumps out and it does that. To go with Sleepaway Camp, you have those freeze frames in both of those films at the end are fucking so effective. Yeah.
That was a scary film, Mother's Day. I liked it when I watched it.
Yeah.
And that was the time we had like one movie theater in the next bigger city, basically, where I grew up, and they played only horror.
That's good.
They played like Russ Meyer, like, you know, like all the sex films, and they played only horror films. And there I watched all that stuff, Dario Argento stuff, and you know, the zombie films, Man Eater, like this kind of stuff. There was always like 18A or 18 plus like ratings in Germany to watch them, and I loved it. I loved that stuff. And I think when you're 16, 15, 16, you smuggle yourself, you get into films, you watch it. And I faked my school ID. It was easy to fake. So I was 2 years old on that ID to get into the films. And my friends, they never wanted to go. They're like, oh, I just cannot do it. I'm scared, whatever. And I said, you're all pussies. I love that shit. Then I went in all that films, and yeah, but it was that movie theater. City was the name, City Cinema, and the reputation was so bad. Like, it was like people thought they were only porn movies or whatever, but it was not. There was really, the dark hole of horror. And they did good, that films. They made business, you know. So and that's the thing. It's like, but all that movies. This was the first movie theaters that disappeared. This little genre sheds, basically, with 40 seats or whatever, and they didn't made it. The real estate was too expensive, so they teared it down at one point and like a condo, and yeah, stuff like this.
Yeah, dude. Horror movies I always put in the same categories like rock and roll. Like you get to a certain age in your youth, I feel, and you really like get pulled in by it if you can handle it, you know, if it's not too much for you. That sucks that theater went out. It probably would bloom today. Actually, I don't know if I can say that because I see a lot of art house cinemas pop up that kind of. We got one big one in Boston called Coolidge Corner Theater. That's like our big main art house theater. And that's been going for as long as I can remember. That's where I'd go see the Dario Argento films and, you know, you name it, dude. Everything that was like horror that came out before I was born. That's where I seen all that stuff, you know. I love it though, 'cause it's just, and they played on 35 millimeter, which is really cool. And it's like, it brings in a smorgasbord of all the cult fans throughout Massachusetts, which is kind of fun, you know.
Yeah, I thought about it, that if there was that a congress like from the rap or whatever, and Jeff Sagansky or whatever, like he's a business guy, he said he sees it like this: there will be like 4 companies ruling all the movies in the world. That's the thing. And it will be all like diverse and vogue, as otherwise you're not getting in production. And I think that will be the time. It's similar with the LP, the record came back, right? That will be the time where the audience will find ways to watch other films again in the movie theater. You know, where all that, because when you see the multiplex theaters, they're all like out of movies. Like they have like 14 screens. Then the movie comes like the Joker. They think it will make business for 6 weeks, and it makes business for 1 week. And now it's crap. Basically, in next week, the Joker will make no more business. Right. So you can basically, now they're standing there and saying what movie we can show, right? But they never thought there is nothing to show. Right. And I think what they have to do, the biggest chance for exhibitors, is to carve out in every multiplex they have 3 screens just for genre films. Older genre films, newer genre films, film unrated, like where it's just like this kind of, we go wild here, you know, and that could gain attraction, that could gain audience, and I think that could make business.
Yeah.
That you know, and I think they need to be more creative, because all that years, I remember that all the exhibitors, they were all like whiny how shitty it looks, but it's also their fault, because they show only the Avatar trailer or the Mission Impossible trailer or the Joker trailer. And they never feature small films. They never put the posters up. They never put the trailer up. And then they're surprised that small films don't work. You know, I mean, what you expect if you get a little low-budget film, you need to advertise it. It's not that the director would sit at Jimmy Kimmel. You know, like, I mean, that's the thing. The Joker and all that stuff, they're getting the big parade. They get all the money, get all the trailers, they get all the TV spots, and so on. And I think the exhibitors need to be really more creative, and they have to see and analyze what will be not in Apple Plus, what will be not in Amazon, you know, so because they just don't do this kind of films. And there is the thing, because horror fans, as we see in that conventions, there are a lot of them. Like, there are a lot of people moving their asses to conventions, a lot of people collecting films and so on. And they would also go to see a movie on the screen, you know, but it needs a better communication, and it needs the support of the movie theaters. And they are like still, I don't know, maybe too spoiled still, but they also have really no fantasy. And that is a big problem. When we showed, I did that docu about the Banditos, the motorcycle club.
Yeah.
So we showed in the Cineplex in Hamm. We showed the film. It was completely sold out, 200 people. And then I told the guy, you call, because Cineplex is a huge chain, right? They have everywhere as a theaters. And I said, look, book that film everywhere, like in Hamburg, in Berlin, whatever. I said it will be always full because you have so many Harley drivers, you have so many, even Hells Angels would watch the film, right? So competitors. And they were so scared they didn't book the film, nowhere. And then in Berlin, I had the whole Banditos, basically, they said, look, we booked the whole, do the whole theater, 10 screens. We bring 600-700 people, and we fill the whole spot, right? And they're drinking and so on. So do you make money also with popcorn and all the other nachos? So you will have a very good time. And they said, do it at 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon. Well, I mean, 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, it's dead.
Yeah.
You know, there is not a lot, they are not busy there. They passed on it. I could get no more screens for the Banditos docu. It's now coming out on Blu-ray and DVD. And you feel like there was an opportunity, that because that was a niche product, what people have a lot, we have a lot of bikers, you have a lot of people that are coming, you know, and that's the same. And then the theaters basically, oh no, I cannot do it. And that's so absurd. It's so fucking idiotic, you know. And then we said First Shift is coming out now in Germany, and also in some movie theaters. I think they got like 20 screens or something. And we offered, like, I'm coming to the screening, right? It's too complicated. We don't have guests, blah, blah, blah. You know, are you fucking insane? Like 10, 20 years ago, I was on tour a lot in movie theaters. The people loved it. Discussion with the director, they advertised it. You have to invite the local press, the local radio, you know, and so you can do some stuff. If you don't have any more people that love movies working at the movie theater and they're just sitting there like little robots, yeah, then good luck with the future, you know, because the box office goes every year more down. It's only a question of time where you cannot afford to have movie theaters. So
I think it's more,
yeah.
You might have a problem with people that they're in it for the financial gain of not the actual, the art of the cinema. 'Cause if you could have the director come in to do a quick Q&A or an introduction to the film, like, you're gonna bring in double the people. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
100%.
It's weird. What do you think that is? Do you think it's it doesn't seem like the theaters and the artists are as collaborative as they should be. Like, I know when we make our films, we go and rent the theaters, but I think that's how the bigger films do it too. It's like you got to rent the theaters, and it's just a matter of renting more theaters. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just like if they get their money, they play your movie, and that's kind of where the buck stops. They're like, well, we don't want to do anything. We just we want to just rent you this screen for this period of time or whatever, where they could do a lot.
Yeah, but look, you can, as an independent filmmaker, you cannot always afford to shelf out like $2,000 to rent a screen, and you hope for the best. You know, that's what I also told the guy, for example, in Berlin. I tried then the Babylon cinema. It's like a standalone cinema. And I called the guy and I said, look, you have 350 seats. They will be sold out. Put it online. They will buy the tickets. You're done, right? So you made the money. No, I want $2,500 up front, right? And I said, yeah, but look, how should I then get my money back? If I pay you and tell the banditos I paid it, they're all coming in and that was it, right? So, I mean, then they're not standing there with 300 banditos and everybody gives me $12 or $13. It's completely bullshit. I said, no, you have to put the link up. I sent them the email. They go online and buy the tickets. You know, so I just filled up your movie theater and you give me my percentage, like the 40%, you know, or 50-50, and that's it. And I said, where is here the problem? He said, no, it's like you have to rent the movie theater from us and then you can keep all the revenues. I said, but I'm flying in from Frankfurt. I drive with the tram, whatever, to your movie theater. And when you think I'm sitting behind the box office there, or what? I mean, how that physically should go, that I should say, you know, I said, it's completely bullshit. I said, why you cannot handle it like every other film is running, you know? And there was also how this broke apart, because I felt like that's just totally insane.
Yeah.
Then I would have to have, then what I would have to hire people to do this, to sit there behind the desk with fake tickets I make up, like I buy an old reel with little tickets, right?
Yeah.
Say, yeah, $10, $10, $10. But of course, I would have no card reader, and not everybody brings cash, right? People want to tap and go. So, and then where's this guy? Where's this money going? I don't have a credit card reader in my pocket, always with me, and tell everybody, tap it. You know, total bullshit. So, and that's the problem. They are not flexible anymore. They don't have this enthusiasm. They kind of, like, the depression of the people that works there is transferring to the audience, you know. And we showed in the same movie theater in Hamm, where the owner, the manager, is a movie enthusiast. We showed, when we did the Banditos thing, we showed First Shift. It was good, like 50 people came to First Shift. We did Postal, there were 50 people. So we did like 2 nights of Boll films, basically. And we were in the multiplex, the best visited films. And he said, look, the 50 people in First Shift right now are more as in any other room I have here at 8 p.m. He said, that is how bad it is. And, you know, and he said, the films in today's time, they work for 1 week and then it's like empty.
Yeah.
You know, it's like he said, it's a disaster. And he said the Disney and so on, for example, they blackmail the movie theaters too. They say, look, we bring you the new whatever Minions film, and then you play them in two screens, one 3D, one not 3D, and you have to play 5 times a day, right? And he says nobody goes into the Minions after 8 p.m. He said there is no business to make, so I want to play genre film, like I want to put something else at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., whatever, like the late shows, right? 9, you have to play the Minions, right? And then he said, then you're dead. You can basically close the movie theater because nobody goes into the Minions at 10 p.m. It's impossible, you know. So, and all that stuff, like, it all is went side hill. But I think that's the only chance for independent movies, is this kind of, we have to conquer the cinemas again.
Yeah, we ran into the same issue like that right there too, where we were trying to get a film played later in the night, and they said that they were playing like some Hollywood film or whatever, and they say it's all digital. So like they're like, if we play your film and not their film, they know that we didn't play their film, and then they contact us and they're like, why aren't you playing our film? Because they pay, I guess, still. You know, that's how it goes. So like, yeah, it really is kind of, and it's a money. It always boils down to money. So like, if you were able to just, even if it's not making an audience coming in, and there's still, it's like the time's bought. You don't have, it's no longer open to regular people. Like you're saying, you know, you could throw another film in there that would get the audience at that time, but it's like, it's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was like, look, oh no, yeah.
Oh yeah. I was just going to say that if the theaters were smart and all that, I think that what some of the theaters should do is honestly, instead of trying to fight for the Hollywood movies and all that, just kind of, take a step back and just like make the theater solely for like genre films, older films. I mean, like the Coolidge that Matt and I go to. We went to see a Rear Window there. Okay, there's a lot of great films that people that you're not going to regularly see on Netflix or another one of those, streaming sites. And what they should do is kind of like do with the Coolidge. I mean, the Coolidge does have some of the big mainstream movies coming out, but instead of trying to do this kind of fight of like bring them in and like, well, we're showing this at this time, you can't show anything else. That since most of those big budget movies are going to streaming anyway, and that is why a lot of the theaters are not having the great turnouts. What they should do is just step back and just say, you know what, we're not going to take in your big budget films. That's not going to give us the revenue, and actually bring in like some classics that they can get the rights for to show for a few nights, and then some new genre films and stuff like that. That's what I think the theater should do, because most of those big films are going to streaming anyway, and that is cutting into their profits to begin with. So the fact is that if they're smart, they should just say, fuck you, Hollywood, and start focusing on on these new artists, new films, and because I mean the fact is, as Terrifier proves, people are going to try to see new stuff because they're sick and tired of the same old shit. They don't want to see Joker 2 with Lady Gaga singing as Harley Quinn. They want to see something that is pushing the envelope. They want something different because Hollywood's just giving us the same old shit. So, I mean, I think it would be the benefit for the theaters to just take a step back from Hollywood and just go back to like the old drive-in movies type of ways. Just my thought.
Yes. What I think is, if let's say you have 10, 12, 14 screens, I think you need to split your movie theater. You also have to redecorate it, and you do a Halloween special with 10 different horror films and stuff like this on 2 or 3 screens. For example, you make that. We had when in Cologne, when I was at university there and so on, there was 2 movie theaters, Broadway and Film Palette, both are gone. But they had only like, you got the monthly program, right? And they didn't play films 100 times. So you put it in your calendar. If I want to see this film, I need to do like Old Boy. I remember the real Old Boy from Japan, right? So it was like, we saw it and we know we have to be there Tuesday 9 p.m. Otherwise we will not see Old Boy. And everybody came who wanted to see Old Boy, right? So, and that you can do that again. You build your audience like this. You need to be patient, and you cannot do this with 1 film or 2 films, right? The Terrifier alone now it's a success. Well, it's very good, but you need more of that to basically put the seed in the ground to create a culture again, where then you do, for example, tonight, and they mixed it also up with new films and older films. They had classics like The Assault from John Carpenter, like on Precinct 13, right? So stuff like this. Yeah. You are able to see things on big screen you completely forgot that they exist, and then like, wow, they show that, I'm going, right? But that is work. That's labor, right? So they need to find the copy and stuff like this. And I have the feeling with this conglomerates now, the movie theaters too went to bureaucracy agency. It's like this kind of like, nobody gives a shit. The people that work there, they would work for $5 more. If McDonald's would pay them $5 more to work at McDonald's. That's a problem. It's like, that's really the problem. But that is also then you have to tell all this AMC and all the chains, you have to say, look, you dig your own grave in just blindly playing the films. And a lot of the big commercial films, they worked only in the old times, because you will never watch this in TV for the next 12 months. It will be just nowhere to be seen. If I don't watch now E.T. now or Indiana Jones now, I will not see that film for a long time. The DVD came, like when the VHS tapes were this time, it was like a year blocked. Then the VHS came. And that was the reason you had like Jaws running for 30 weeks or something in the movie theaters, and you had to go, you know. And now, as you said, now it's like, who gives a shit? Like that film is within 30 days, I can buy it on Amazon, and we watch it we pay $24 and we watch it with 5 people at home. And everybody has to kick in $5. That's it. So it's not bringing you to the movie theaters then anymore for films you maybe don't want to see. You know, like stuff where you think I could go now, but I also can just wait a month and watch it then. That's a totally different world, you know, as like there's no chance that I see that film even in pay TV for at least 7 months, 8 months.
Yeah. So the studios are really hurting themselves with that. Like, because like you said, definitely. I remember, even as a youth, I remember waiting like a year to get a film, but now you get it in like a month. Sometimes you can even buy it online when it's in theaters, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of drop balls, I think, in the equation. You know what I mean? That people kind of get it, but it's definitely a money thing. It's like they want to put it out there so they can get money on it. Maybe they don't respect the memory of the audience, if you will. I mean, people get a lot of like they forget things pretty quick nowadays, anyway. So you almost have to stay on top of it. But they also have like an unlimited amount of movies always coming, always coming. You know what I mean?
When you think about it, Paramount Pictures, so from Mission Impossible, Top Gun, El Dorado, John Wayne Western, like hundreds of Oscars, Apocalypse, whatever, right? The whole value was $9 billion when they sold it now. Think about that. Paramount Pictures with this history, with this library, with the lot in LA on Melrose, a massive lot, right? And like value Netflix 290 billion. You know, basically a computer generated company would just load things up. And I mean, that shows what went wrong. And I think that was also in a way what that Jeff Zagatsky said, right? He said it's when the big tech took over Hollywood, they devalued Hollywood to nothing. They're like toast, you know? So, and he said, so what we have is Amazon, we have Netflix, then we have bundles. We have the other 4 is like because HBO Max will go into Peacock together, whatever, like that will be in the end, or maybe Apple. The thing is with Apple could be a giant too, but they don't want to, right? So it's like I don't think Apple will go all the way what Amazon did or whatever. They will just stay boutique. They produce 20 things a year, you know, to just have something like an advertising tool, and they don't give a shit what the costs are because it's not even what they make per week on their other Apple stuff, what they spend on movies. So it's for them, it's a hobby. So but that is the reason they will be basically, Apple will be this kind of thing you have as an add-on for free because you signed on something else, you know. But Paramount, Peacock, Hulu, you know, Disney is the number 3. So Disney will stand alone because it's this kind of what parents do. It's like this, you know, like Disney has this niche where that is why you keep Disney Plus. But but Disney will maybe swallow up or list like what they have with Hulu is part of Disney already, and Fox and so on. Maybe they just take over Paramount Plus. You know, that buy it out them and say, oh, whatever, I'll make a deal with them and say, look, we can put Paramount Plus as a column on Disney Plus. You know, so, and I mean, that's the world we are in. The problem is if they're all getting combined, then you have less and less people who can buy films or who want to buy films. You know, you have like in earlier years, you had like 150 distributors who could be all buying your film. They're all gone then. And it's just like, you can send your film to 4 people. If they all hate your film, you're toast. You're not you can post your film on YouTube. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the problem, you know.
That is definitely a problem. I mean, you get smaller streaming things like Tubi and stuff like that where you can kind of get your film put on there. I don't know what the payout. I don't think it's livable payout from Tubi. You know what I mean? But Disney's a monster though. They I believe they own what, Star Wars and all the Marvel stuff as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's big.
Disney was clever. They bought Lucasfilm, and so they have so many franchises and the animation department and the library. And then they have with Fox also a little genre and crime and stuff, Hulu, you know. So that is why Disney is from the numbers, it's the second biggest after Netflix. So, you know, and I think Netflix is just looking at the overall numbers. That's the reason there's so much crap on Netflix, because it comes from all different countries. They're producing the most internationally, you know, the Korean stuff, Germany, France, Spain, they all do the originals, and they're getting loaded up, and it's totally overwhelming because you like, when I open Netflix, there is so much stuff I'm so not interested in. You know, like this kind of like, wow. But the amount of new releases is just insane. You know, it's like every day is one or two new productions every day.
Yeah.
It's crazy, you know, and yeah, but that's the world we're living in. And then if they don't pay you, as I said, like Netflix paid for Rampage 3, $75,000 for 2 years. So what they buy for pennies on the dollar. You know, they're not giving you the money back you paid the film for. And then if you don't have Blu-ray or DVD revenue, so what are you doing? You know, if you shoot a film for $75,000, they're not buying it at all.
Right.
You know, then they say, nah, good luck, you can post it somewhere, but they're not giving you an offer. That's the other problem. They want that you spend $1 million or more, that they even buy a genre film from you, and otherwise you're toast. And what you said is right. Tubi, I heard Tubi pays also like 20 to 40,000. Mubi, that more art house Tubi thing, is also like more for art house films. Also, they pay up to 100,000 for a big festival film. So, but if you add all that numbers, it's just a total shit show. It's like you cannot make movies. It's impossible, you know. So, and when you put a film up on Apple, you just load it up on Amazon and people can buy it. I mean, how many people then really go and buy your film?
Right.
You know, I think the first shift was actually sold for like $14.99. Not even 1,000 times, like 800 times or something, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and then of course then comes the cheaper one and you rent it, and then comes whatever you AVOD, that it's with advertising. So, but I don't think I will get my money back on first shift. Impossible, you know. So that's the thing. It's like, if you don't have a scandal that everybody clicks it on, if you don't have something what is like, whoa, we have to watch that right now because the main actor just killed his wife or something like that. I mean, you really would need something to get the attention, right? That the people are like, I just want to see this now, you know, like the Alec Baldwin Western comes now.
Yeah, Rust. Yeah.
Rust. Maybe they actually will be more successful as they would ever be with a B Western, based on people want to watch that scene where she got shot, or I don't know. It sensation people, what, you know, that they're watching it, that they try to see something in Alec Baldwin's eyes. You know, like, was he really out of it or whatever? I don't know, but it could be that a scandal like this, definitely Rust is a film now everybody knows, and it was a film nobody would know normally. It's B minus shit Western, to be honest. Like, I mean, it's not like Once Upon a Time in the West or Sergio Leone or something.
Right.
And that thing, it's like, yeah, but you also don't want to hurt people, and you know, like, only to create press. It's like, It's insane.
I'm surprised they even released Rust. When I heard recently they were premiering it, I was like, there's got to be like 50 different tributes to the DP in there. It's like how do you not, you know what I mean, make it a complete tribute film pretty much. I'm curious to see where it goes, and you're dead on correct. Like I have no interest at all ever. Like before, like I would if I seen it on Netflix for free, I'd probably watch it just because of the controversy around it. But like on paper, like an Alec Baldwin Western movie, dude, I got no interest in an Alec Baldwin Western movie. But because of what happened, you're right. Because of what happened, it was the Toxic Avenger movie. You know, fun fact with Mother's Day, that was directed by Lloyd Kaufman's brother, Charlie Kaufman, who he never did it. He owns like a bread shop in New York now, but he never did anything else. I'm surprised. But with the Toxic Avenger movie, they did a reboot of it, and it had like Kevin Bacon in it. It had like 3 or 4 named people.
Yeah, Elijah Wood,
Elijah
Peter
Wood.
Dinklage. They had a lot of big names in it, but
They can't sell it,
supposedly,
something like that.
yeah, they said they couldn't sell it because it was like too gory or too something, and then it's like, wait a minute, you literally bought the rights to do the Toxic Avenger, okay?
Yeah.
Please explain to me, how did you think that this was not going to be over the top, crash and all? I mean, that's what the Toxic Avenger is. It's like, and I mean, it just blows my mind when, I mean, another example is when they did the Batgirl movie where they shot it all and then they decided, oh, we have no faith in this now, but we've already shot it, so we'll just not show it and take like a payout or something like that. And I'm just like, listen, okay, you've already made the film. The film's done, okay? Why don't you see what the audience will say? Why don't you put it out? I mean, even if you decide that, it's not going to be pulling out the numbers you expect, but you're going to get something out of it, especially if it is pushing the envelope, as they keep on saying is the reason why they're not putting it out there, is the definite reason to put it out there, because I mean, the audience needs something different than all the bullshit that they're sending out right now.
Yeah, with the Toxic Avenger, so Gary Otto, my partner at Uwe Boll Raw, right? He worked for Trauma before, and he worked on I think the second Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
And he told me, like we talked about it, about the whole thing, that but that is exactly how you say in this specific film, what are you expecting? I mean, I mean, you buy this property and then you flip out that it's NC-17. It's totally insane. Yeah. And I mean, or to buy it and do PG-13, then you're out of your fucking mind because everybody will hate you for it. Right. So also saying there was a total bullshit that film should never be shot with the cast, also with that high-end cast. But it's the reason why, like Batwoman, like Catwoman and all that shit didn't even get out. There were various films, mostly also Warner Brothers, and that is, I read that up. Why is that actually happening? Because it makes no sense. You could still sell this shit for $15 million to Netflix or something, right? So, but the reason is only if you don't show it at all, they can put it in their cost sheet as a full loss. If as soon you show it, you have to write it down over 10 years. And there was nothing else as like that Warner Brothers boss and his whatever accountings people say, look, we don't pay any taxes if we actually now throw these 2 movies in the garbage and write off $160 million completely. And so we pay 0 taxes this year. But if we show it or sell it for $10 million somewhere, then from the 80 million, they were expensive stuff, right? So from the cost, we can only write off 8 million, and 72 million from the budget will get activated. as like a plus first, right? So it's just an accounting stuff. And when I read that article about it, I felt like that shows how wrong the taxation system is.
Yeah.
You know, the government should support with rules that, of course, you cannot, like, that something, to throw something away instead of making some money with it, that you get punished by the government for it, is totally insane.
Yeah.
You know, you should be, for example, from the accounting system, let's say you say, okay, look, we have the fans, also Toxic Avenger, we have some fans. So we make a deal with Amazon, we make a deal with Netflix, or, you know, and we pay $5 million. So, but then I think the rest of the money, they should write off right away. They should be able to do this, to say, look, we paid 60 million, we sold it for 10 million to Netflix, so we have 50 million loss, and we can sell that. But this is in our balance sheet this year. And not like, because we sold it for 10 million to Netflix, the other 50 we can write off only 5 million this year, 5 million next year. So, you know, why they do this? It's insane. It's counterproductive too. All that actors, the whole crew, everybody worked on it, and now you have a film what basically gets deleted after.
Scary.
You know, it's sad. Also, can only imagine for all that actors and the crew, the director. Remember the other two guys, the two Arab guys, they shot a big film. Was that Batwoman or Catwoman or whatever? I don't know what they shot. They were hired, they were like these hip brothers from Egypt or whatever, but they did various Hollywood films. They were like totally like hip.
Yeah.
And then they because I read that article, when they got the call, like, your film will not bomb because it will not be shown. And they were like, what are you talking about, you know? And then they said they shelf it, like nobody will ever see the film.
Yikes. Yeah, I think those brothers did Bad Boys 3 as well, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then they did that Catwoman film, right? And that got like nowhere. And they were like total shocked because they said the film was not bad. Is what they said, right? And they said, so now everybody thinks we are the worst pieces of shit ever existed, and our reputation is completely destroyed. That is what they thought will happen to them. You know, I don't know if they directed another film after, but I don't think that. I think most of the people felt sympathy with them.
Yeah.
You know, and felt like, in this case, Warner Brothers are out of their mind. So, you know, that's a sad story. You know, then better put it on YouTube for free.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the thing is, honestly, as an artist, I think there's nothing worse. I mean, I would rather do a film that bombs, that people hate, that people tell me is the biggest piece of shit they've ever seen, than to do a film and then have it shelved and not seen by anybody. Yeah. Personally, I think that's worse.
Do you think it's like a favoritism with studio and filmmaker? Because I think about like that Fantastic Four movie that came out a few years ago, and that director before it came out was like, this movie sucks. I wish but that still went to theaters, you know what I mean? So like it's a weird, and he got to make more movies. And you'd think if you were funding all, like, it was a Fantastic Four, I'm sure there was hundreds of $1 million into it. And then the director, like the leader of the pack, goes out there and bashes it before it comes out. It's like, I would never give that person money again. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a weird, it's got to be a relationship deal between studio and director in a situation like that. Because even when I remember me and Alex talking about that, be like, why are you bad mouthing the movie before it even comes out, dude? Like, what are you trying to do? It's weird.
But I think sometimes they look at Zack Snyder. He always comes up with, basically, he can do whatever he wants, and then he comes up with, no, that is shit, and then my real version is 2 hours longer, whatever, right? And then they release the other version of whatever it is, and then it's mostly more boring. It's not like necessarily better, but I think in his case, it's his strategy. You know, that it always looks he's a rebel fighting against the system. In reality, he gets hundreds of millions of dollars to make films and makes like in his pocket 5 to 10 million a film. You know, he's totally the system. He's not the outsider. And so I have a mixed relationship with his films. I think he's a good director. I think he made good films, but I'm not like 100% behind him. Let's say it this way.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I think he plays kind of a game, and other directors never do this. You know, John Carpenter never played any game.
Right.
And that's the it's a little strange with Zack Snyder with all the different versions, and then also like some stuff. What was it, Rebel Moon? He did that too. No?
Oh yeah, Rebel Moon or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even go watch it, to be honest, and I felt like it's kind of like his system. Like he's so connected to his fans, he's doing it only for the fans. But in reality, if you tell him, "We give you $3 million to do an independent zombie movie," forget it.
Yeah.
You know, like, yeah, absolutely. You know, so that's the thing. I think that the motivation or real directors or real producers or real enthusiastic people would always, before they do nothing, do something for free. So they would always, like, before, you know, like, and I think a lot of the directors of today's time would never do anything for free. They would never do a film. And if you tell them, "We give you 20 million bucks and you can live in Hawaii and just lay at the beach," they take the 20 million. And these are not the real filmmakers. You know, that, I mean, we have to give that to Coppola. We have to give it to Kevin Costner, to people. They also Paul Schrader or people like this. They make them smaller movies, go with the budgets back and forth. They don't care, but they want to be creative. They want to do something. And it is Orson Welles did that all the time. He ruined himself with the films. And I think that are the real filmmakers, you know, who just go for it and did stuff. And this are the good one. Dario Argento, he did any budget and so on. You know, it was never like to like insulted if he had a low budget. He tried to make the best out of it. Stuff like this. So that's totally different to today, in today's time. You know,
For sure.
So, you know,
Yeah.
you tell Michael Bay to do that for free, he's like laughing you out of the room.
He couldn't, yeah. He knows he can't, I think. He needs to have that that there's so much money behind a Michael Bay production that, like, we even have that in like the underground, where it's like me and Alex we can make movies for like no money at all, but we've worked with certain filmmakers, good people, but like if they don't have the money to hire all the right positions, they can't make the movie. Like where we'll go, we just did a film where we had a crew with like 4 people. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
I know people that just couldn't do that. Like if they were like, "You need to make this movie with 4 people or you're gonna die," they'd be like, "Which coffin do I lay in?" You know what I mean? And it's just kind of the way it is. We brought up John Carpenter a few times. It's like that dude's body of work is so influential. It's like ridiculous, you know. And I've always liked, you know, some people might say when he hit, what is it? The Village of the Damned reboot. He did like an Invisible Man reboot with Chevy Chase, which was kind of questionable. And then Ghosts of Mars, which is a fun flick. And then he kind of disappeared. And I've always thought it was weird that like, it's like he can't get, no one will give him money to make something. Like he flirted with the idea of doing like Escape from the Universe with Kurt Russell for years, and it's like if people would go see that, I feel, but who am I don't know. It's an interesting thing. It gets tough for him, I think, and every now and then, yeah, you'll see it, a filmmaker from the 80s, if you will, and the only filmmaker that I can think of really that from the 80s, that they're kind of the majority of their films happened in the 80s, and they did a newer movie. It's like Don Coscarelli from Phantasm. When he kind of came back many years and did that John Dies at the End movie, that was a really fun movie. And it didn't have a dated feel to it. You know what I mean? Like I've seen, like I hate to say it, but I've seen like Joe Dante did I love Joe Dante, but he did a movie maybe like 5, 10 years ago, and it just had a really dated vibe to it. But I love him. Like I'm not trying to shit on him. It just had like a dated vibe to it. And yeah, I don't know. Every now and then Carpenter will pop up. Like when Masters of Horror was around, he did a couple segments of that which were good. But and then he did like a weird right after Shutter Island, he did almost like a weird Shutter Island ripoff movie, which was like weird. I was like, what a weird choice.
If I would have to pick, right?
Yeah,
Think about Tim Burton. He was always A-list, but I would take John Carpenter way above Tim Burton.
for sure.
It's like my personal taste. He was like in the face and gritty and very creative how he did stuff. And it's more my style too, like in your face films. And I know Tim Burton is a great director and I think he's very, very talented, but I never got this total inner connection to his films. You know, that Beetlejuice, whatever. I cannot say I love this. I know it's good, whatever. You know, Edwards with the scissor hands, whatever. I watched them all, but I didn't felt home in this kind of films. I never got this kind of inner connection to it.
Yeah,
you know, and yeah, but it is what it is. But he stayed on top of the game. He, like got a lot of money and big projects, big releases still. So he's kind of clever with this. And that's the thing, It's like James Cameron too, in a way, like when he like did Titanic, that was the point where I gave a shit about him anymore, in a way, right? I mean, Terminator 2, of course, like he did some really masterpieces and great films like Aliens, whatever. But then he went in a totally different kind of direction. And I mean, I watched Titanic on the big screen. I watched Avatar on the big screen. I said, yeah, it's absolutely master filmmaking, but I give a shit about the films. I had that feeling like, yeah, it's very big what I'm watching. It looks very good, technical, advanced, whatever. But, Avatar 2, I could never watch it. I mean, I was like, who the fuck? I don't want to have blue people again. Like,
yeah.
I really give a shit about it. It was just the effect to sit there with the glasses in Avatar 1, and you were sitting there like, wow, that's a new technology. It's great, right? But the story was so simple, so stupid, and then that he's to continue with Avatar. He spends in the end 15 years just with Avatar shit. What a waste.
Yeah.
What a waste of his life. That guy is so rich, he could get greenlit everything. Why he's not doing something like Megapolis in good? Like in like impressive, whatever. Like, I mean, I can't just Megapolis also. I just cannot watch it. I watched 10 a trailer and I felt, oh my fucking god, I cannot watch it. And and it's just like it doesn't like reach me, where I feel like I just cannot do that to myself, to watch like people in New York looking through the periscope to the stars and whatever. You think, who gives a fuck? It has nothing to do with reality. It's so away from every problem we have that it's totally insane almost, So and that's the thing. But it doesn't make Francis Ford Coppola smaller, like he is still a giant director who did absolutely classics for forever. So 100%. And I like it that he used his own money and that he showed like, I give a shit, I'm spending it, So, and I think that was great. So that is entrepreneurial spirit, you can say, that is good. Yeah. But other people are just in for the money and they never do anything before it's not completely financed through.
Yeah.
And yeah. So see you soon. Have a good good night. Yeah, all right.
Hell
Okay.
yeah. Happy HoRRoRWEEN.
Yeah.
Happy Halloween.
Talk later. Bye.
Yeah, that is the great Uwe Boll. Man, I gotta say, you didn't see that, but as soon as the cameras were off, all three of us just sang a great rendition of Alone in Denmark, another great song from Father's Prick. Anyway, next up, we decided to get the band back together. That's right, I know you haven't seen us together since 1995. The last time we did a sold out performance at the stadium. Yes, so you got myself, the lead guitarist, rock and roll prick. You then have the great father daughter lead vocalist, and also the bassist known as the Butcher, and the hardest one for us to ever get together, our drummer, the one who has the drumsticks, Swagger Dynasty. All of us are finally together. We're going to talk about Halloween. We're going to talk about all of our favorite movies and stuff, and even more, our favorite candy. And we all know there's nothing better than candy on Halloween. Check it out.
We've taken over the airwaves. I am. Well, first of all, we have a glorious band. You should all know who we are from the get-go. We are from the glorious band Father's Prick. You know, you might remember us from the 70s and 80s. We were killing it. National world tours all over the fucking planet, going to different galaxies. You name it, we were there. I am father-daughter. And then to the right of me, I have I sing, I scream my heart out for the fans, and they love it. They melt like fucking ice cream before me. And then I melt like ice cream for them, if you know what I mean. Next up, to my right, Rock and Roll Rick, the guitarist extraordinaire with the fingers of gold. All right, and then below me, you know, that's kind of one of the things me and the groupies would get down with, a little bit of that. But below me on the picture scale here is the bassist with the axe, the Butcher. There it is. Very nice, very nice. And the drumstick king, the king of the drums, the king of the pigskin, Swagger Dynasty. Very cool, very cool. We're glad to be here on another HoRRoRWEEN. I think this is what, 5? We're going on 5, I think, of these.
Yeah, it's the 5th.
Started off as a screening, doing screenings on Halloween night in good old Arlington, Massachusetts, screening our films and other folks' horror films, good times. And then the pandemic came and kind of put a little killing on it, you know what I mean? It could put an end to our touring days, touring the States. Now we just do pubs and such. But we're working our way. We're like Dice Man, and we're going to work our way right back to the stadium. We're a stadium act, damn it. You know what I mean? By golly. So here we are, HoRRoRWEENing it up. It's a beautiful thing. I'm glad the whole band's back together. It's been some time before we were back in there. If only we can get into the studio one more time and lay some gold for the people out there. Swagger Dynasty, dude, we haven't had you in the mix. I don't think you've ever been on a HoRRoRWEEN. So what we like to do is we welcome you. We smash a pumpkin in your honor to Cage. You know,
Yep.
I remember touring with those guys. They were good guys back in the 90s. We tore up a lot of stages with
Yep.
the Smashing Pumpkins. It was good stuff. But Swagger Dynasty, I know that maybe more so than anybody else on the screen. I know that you are a fan, a big lover of Halloween, and we're gonna tap into that this evening.
Yep.
Why, and how do you love the Halloween season?
Because it's the only time of the year that I can be me. You know, with costumes and makeup, sometimes passing out candy, sometimes scaring a little bit of Judas out of people.
That's right. You got to scare the Judas out of him because Judas is the bad one. You want to keep the Jesus in him. You know what I mean?
Right.
You got it. How old were you when you first started doing the trick or treating thing?
when I was a little boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a Hall of Famer as well, I know. You know, a lot of
Baseball High School Wrestling Athletic Hall of Fame.
yeah, sometimes you get a little bit of jock in you. Sometimes the rock and rollers don't like to let the other world see the side of the jock side. Usually we're duking it out with the jocks, you know what I mean? But the Swagger Dynasty has been all over the world. That's why the ladies love them so much when we're out on tour.
In 2011 to 2017, I worked on Halloween. I worked 7 years at Screen Park. That's why the name Swagger Dynasty. I was 3 characters for the past 7 years. You got Bob Dollar Swagger, the clown.
Yeah.
You got Everard Coriolanus Swagger, the Victorian butcher. And you also got Heidelbert Leonidas Swagger, the monster druid. The clown was 3D Killer's Crypt. Ebelark was the Nightmare Mansion. And Heidelbert was Castle Morbid.
Yeah.
My final year, I was back to 3D Killer's Crypt as Bob Dollar Swagger.
I know that when you were the butcher, you and the butcher over here would have issues, would have to break up a lot of fights behind the scenes. Maybe some would kind of speculate that's why the band went on hiatus for a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You know, but we won't talk about that. We won't talk about that. We got a good friend of ours, Chris, who does a lot of Hans and Mary, you know, Mary Phillips doing it big. Shout out both of them. I think as we speak, they're getting ready to do some haunting over at Barrett's Haunted Mansion.
A haunting we will go, a haunting we will go. Hi, hold the area, a haunting we will go.
Hey, we might give you the lead singer spot. You keep that up. You know what I mean? My God. Then I'll be just like a sound tech. I'll be tuning Billy the Butcher's guitar and lighting his cigarettes for him. And that ain't no place for me. I'm a born star, baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You stay in your place.
Yeah, you know. Well, I won't take that away from you. You know, do you have any costumes that you remember really hating or like being a downer? Not quite a highlight memory, but maybe the opposite of a highlighted memory.
I think one costume really did not do justice. I was a football demon.
A football, like a player demon or an actual football?
Player demon.
Okay. Were you OJ Simpson?
Oh, come on. That was mostly in 1990
Yeah.
when that happened. My father died before then.
Sorry.
And then my freshman year in high school, I did trick-or-treating with a couple of friends. And then at the end of the trick-or-treating, we had pizza and french fries.
Nice.
And that's what I'm going to be doing with my friend on Halloween night. We're going to pass out, me and her dad are going to be passing out candy. And then we're also going to have a pizza, subs, and fries and drinks party.
Hell yeah.
My mom's going to pay for it.
I know that when I was younger, the worst costume that I will incorporate the other band members into this. The worst costume I ever had is I was a real bad boy and I refused. I asked for what I wanted to be. I think I wanted to be like a horror person or something. And my mom was never really big on horror. She still isn't. So she came and brought me I wanted to be a ninja, I think it was, and she didn't. She brought me a Fred Flintstone costume, and I was a little shit, and I was like, I'm not gonna wear it. So one of the teachers there put a brown paper bag over my head, and I went as the Nameless comic. You guys remember him from the 80s?
Yeah, I know, comedian, I know.
Yeah.
But there was a costume that I didn't like mostly, and that was being E.T.
That's a lot on your neck. You know what I mean? E.T.'s got that big old head and that thin neck. Good movie.
Yeah, but luckily enough, I changed costumes before trick-or-treating and became a clown.
Clown's one of those go-to ideas that are always a good move. I've been a clown before. You know what I mean?
I've been a clown.
Yeah.
I think we've all been a clown at one point or another.
Alex played a clown in a movie once, not too long ago, called Special
I
Treatment.
got a degree on. I have a degree in clowning. I got a bachelor of buffoonery from a clown school years
Really?
back.
I've heard about this. I know Steve-O from Jackass has that too. So what exactly does that entail when you go to get a bachelor's in buffoonery, you said? That should be the name of that should be a podcast name. I like that.
Bachelor of buffoonery, you have to go to clown school. And there was a clown school near my house. And I was doing it for weeks. And then at the end, we did this presentation for graduation.
Right.
It would have been nice to be aired on cable, but my mom didn't have the what to do it.
Now, when you go to clown school, what does that entail? Like, what are the courses in that?
Makeup, character.
So you got to be able to do your own makeup and other people's makeup. That's what I'm guessing.
Yep.
And then character, do you create a character or they get you start off with something like
Just create a
stereotypical?
character. When I was in the clown school, I was known as Coach.
I like that.
Coach the Clown. But if my teacher was alive today and she found out that I went to the dark side, she will be rolling in her grave right now.
You want what dark side did you go to?
When I joined Witch's Woods in 2011, become the Bob Dollar Swagger. Let me tell you the story of Dollar Sign.
You'd love to hear it.
His father was Pennywise, Jack Pennywise Swagger. Jack Pennywise Swagger. And now you have his son, Jack Pennywise Swagger Jr., who is now doing the movie now of It's Chapter 1 and 2. But I like the Tim Curry.
Yeah, me too.
Pennywise, because he is Jack Pennywise Swagger Sr.
I've heard him credited as that actually. Yeah, dude. So I'm curious, like clowns, there's a divide between makeup where the happy-go-lucky clown people wouldn't be cool with you going to the dark side and doing a scary clown. It's like two different worlds.
It is two different worlds.
I had no idea. It's like gang mentality.
Yeah, it's like the dark because I'm like a Seth.
Yes.
But I did the first 3.5 seasons. I was a clown.
Regular clown?
No, the first year I was an almost made-up clown.
Okay.
Because it was part of a clown factory.
Yeah.
Then the second year I was the puppet and puppet master.
Butcher's all about the puppet master, yeah.
Third year, I was the birthday boy. The kids got sugar high, they had a sugar crash, died of a sugar coma.
Oh shit, that is dark. Man.
I had a toy chainsaw too.
Oh hell yeah. Did you dress up as like a baby type deal?
No.
Okay.
I dyed my hair red. I made my own costume. I also made my costume in my 4th year. But it didn't last that long for the 4th year because half a season, I was also working on the Nightmare Mansion as the greeter. Greeting all the
patrons.
Customers to the Nightmare Mansion. But
did you like being a greeter?
It was because the thing of it is had to do with my system going on. because I was part of a clubhouse
Mm.
and they wanted me to work more hours. But before I did the greeter thing, Witches Woods got an award from us, from the Massachusetts Clubhouse Coalition. That was before my clubhouse Pandora's box opened.
That's
I don't
what
want
they're called?
to get into full detail about my clubhouse.
It could be dangerous, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like then the 5th year of my at Witches Woods, I was a Victorian butcher.
Oh.
As Evelark Corleanus. Evelark, Catus 17, Peter Malark, Evelark, and Corleanus, Corleanus Snow.
I thought you said holy anus for a second.
Corleanus.
All right.
Corleanus.
I like that.
Like from President Snow.
I do.
Because that was 100 games fed character of Evelark Corleanus Swagger. Yeah. But then I had to get real creative when I moved to Castle Morbid in 2016, where I was known as Heidelbert Leonidas Swagger. When I go by Heidelbert, it's off to a thing called by my cousin Del Crispin, and his full name is Adelbert.
Leonidas.
So I went with Heidelbert Leonidas Swagger.
Leonidas, yeah.
The middle name, King Leonidas.
For sure. I love Leonidas. It's a great name. You don't hear enough of it anymore.
And then my final year in 2017, I was popped off Swagger once again. Growing up, we went full circle.
Now, Swagger Dynasty is such a great name for like a rap group, like a current day hip hop group. Would you ever be interested? I know you're not down with the Juggalos. I won't tell the Juggalos on the network that they might be whooping on you. But would you ever get down with rapping? Would you ever try picking up the mic, spit some hot fire?
No. This is because I cannot wait for this year. Because I'm gonna be saying those words. I miss this.
Yeah.
Because I've been waiting for so long to get back to myself for years.
Hell yeah, dude. Every Halloween. Now, Billy, the butcher, rather. We'll call you the butcher, I think. So, the butcher, you used to do the makeup I think you still do, but you went to school at both Makeup Designery in California, which was a big kind of glamour makeup school. I think maybe the best you can go to for that deal, as well as Tom Savini's kind of like a gore makeup school in Pennsylvania.
I've been to Spooky World.
Spooky World. I actually met ICP, the Insane Clown Posse. That's the last I'll talk of them. I
went to Spooky World in 96, in 95, in 96.
We know a dude who was one of the co-owners, Stephen Bowman, out there. Spooky World was great times, dude. I got to meet Incredible Hulk. I know that Rock and Roll Prick is a big Incredible Hulk fan.
Heck yeah.
And, you know what I mean? I know we have some studio audience out there. Jeremy saying that Spooky World was it. I met the clowns there. I met Ginger Lynn, I believe, and I met the dude who wrote the Monster Mash song. It was very cool.
I almost met Alice Cooper.
Oh, that would have been cool.
Yeah, but he was walking around. It would be nice to meet him.
Well, we partied with him enough behind the scenes, on tour.
I rang Alice Cooper up when I used to work retail at the Virgin Megastore.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I remember he came through.
Yeah.
Yeah. JT, Bobby Boris Pickett was the one who was at Spooky World who wrote the Monster Mash.
JT might have went with me, believe it or not. I don't think he did, but That might have been before I even met the great JT. But Bill, real quick, did they ever have beef at the makeup designery and the Tom Savini schools? Was there ever like gangland stuff going on over there between those two with the glamour makeup and the gore effects? I know you were tied into the middle. You
Well,
did
yeah, I
both.
mean, I was tied in the middle for a little bit there, but I kind of went over to the makeup effects side. But
Yeah.
I think no matter what, at the end of the day, special makeup and beauty, they would always get along, those departments. I think a lot of the beauty effects, wish they were, maybe like on a Hudson sprayer spraying blood and being more hands-on, but some of them were just content, I mean, I think if anything, it was probably like, non-union versus union more than the actual departments,
Word.
kind of at odds.
They're
If
always
any of the time I want to see a monster or a beast trying to scare kids, I would tell them to stop.
Oh yeah.
Because I know, and here's the scenario. I was doing my usual stuff, and then Jason would show up. And then he was gonna go after this young girl. And then I had to tell him not to go after her.
Yeah.
And tell her that she's in trouble, she's gotta get grounded and all that, and get grounded.
Yeah, yeah.
And was giving curfew and running off. And he will say, "Kill me, kill me, kill me," and then Jason wouldn't. He said, "Let her parents do it."
I
I'm
know.
gonna say the same thing to Freddy. I'm gonna say
Oh,
the same thing to Freddy.
yeah. That was the beauty of Spooky World. Everywhere you looked, there was somebody painted up, ghoul looking, walking around. Not just in not just in the haunted like houses and stuff like that. They had a mine shaft. It used to be behind Foxborough Stadium where it was just set up. Now
Yeah,
it's
I went there in 2002.
now they just set it up like wherever they can find a parking lot, I think. But like when it was in the
That's in
same,
Litchfield, New Hampshire.
I mean,
yeah,
it jumped for years from what I can remember.
when it was in the same place every year, it was they I remember there was like you went underground for one of them. It was really cool. Bill, Alice Cooper, do you remember what he bought when he was at your store? I'm very curious.
Um, I know he was buying some music.
Yeah.
But the thing that was embarrassing is, it was cold, so like he was wearing a jacket and a scarf, and he had like big Jackie O glasses on. And I called him a miss by accident.
Oh
You mean the
no.
big O glasses?
The Jackie O's,
Oh.
Oh my gosh.
you know,
Yeah.
Jackie O's, the hair was, all over the place. I mean, looks like a 70. I mean, I don't like saying this, but I thought it was a 70-year-old woman. And then my manager comes running over to me, who's in a music group, and I've seen a show. Great guy, Justin Brooks. And he said, "Dude, you just rang up Alice Cooper." I'm like, "Who, that lady?" It's like, "Dude, that was Alice Cooper." And I'm like, "Okay, straw, straw." I mean, I wasn't happy with after the fact. It would have been like, "Hey, have an awesome show at Xfinity or wherever, he was going to be playing."
Yeah, when I met Steven Tyler at Walmart, he looked like an old lady too. I don't know what the deal is between these. We're blessed that we're rock stars that don't look like old ladies. It's a fantastic thing. Billy, rock and roll prick.
Yeah.
Bill looks like somebody we used to work with that kind of has a name like you a little bit. I was thinking.
So, rock and roll middle finger, huh?
Yeah.
Rock and roll middle finger. Doing the birdie.
He's birdieing it up.
Yeah, throwing up the bird.
Rock and roll prick. How many ladies have you been with this evening? I mean,
Oh, this evening, at
just
least 20. At least 20.
at least 20, dude. You're rock and rolling. You're always
I
somebody.
had to use both hands twice.
Is that why you keep them wrapped up so they don't get too chafed? We don't want
Yeah. I gotta keep my fingers loose and wiggly.
I had no idea we were talking to a man with a bachelor degree in buffoonery. That was new to me. I didn't see that coming. I would have dressed a little better. I would have worn my more shinier cross. If I knew that that was the case. That's one thing I never knew about Swagger Dynasty in all my years of jamming with them on stage. I never knew we could have incorporated some of that into our stage show. You know what I mean? But it's cool. Rock and roll prick.
Yep.
Have you ever faced evil head on over there?
Every time I talk to you, buddy.
Oh, you're wild. You're a wild character.
Well, I am lucky to say that I don't think I've actually dealt with true evil in my life, and hopefully I will never have to deal with true evil. Have I dealt with assholes and pricks like myself? Yeah, yeah.
That's a
But
different story, yeah.
that's a daily occurrence. I mean, you can't go through this rock and roll lifestyle without running into a few pricks.
That's true. That's true.
But true evil. Luckily, I have not found myself in that situation.
I know rock and roll prick doesn't believe in ghosts because he's never seen one. But
Hey,
yeah,
as I said before, I'm open to the possibility. As again, like you said, I haven't seen one. It's the same thing with aliens. Am I open to the possibility of aliens existing? I have a hard time believing with this great universe we live in that we're the only place with half intelligent life. So hopefully there's something out there with more intelligent life.
rock and roll prick almost broke character there for a little bit for a man who is such a great actor in another life. Swagger Dynasty. What's your take on ghosts? You believe in ghosts? Ever see one? What's your take on them?
Hold on.
Okay. The Butcher. You're being a quiet. You're quiet over there. You're breathing smoke out of your mouth like a dragon. You believe in ghosts? Maybe seen some evil in your day? Real evil?
I have seen things I can't explain. I don't consider myself religious, but I consider myself spiritual.
What's your favorite candy for around Halloween time?
I'm not really a chocolate person. I'm mostly into fruit flavored candy.
Like some,
But still, if I'm gonna pass out candy,
yeah.
I want the best to give to the kids.
Okay.
Snickers, Twix, Kit Kat, Reese's.
Talking my type of.
Are we talking full bars? We talking the full bars?
I would love full bars, but right now I'll stick with the bun size.
Yeah, fun size works. There's nothing. Even as a kid, and I bring my nieces and nephews out trick or treating. When we come across a house with full bars, that's payday. You know, that's some pay dirt. That's doing it big. Always loved the full bars. You know, as a kid, I'd have to say when I was trick or treating, Butterfinger was like my favorite candy to get as a kid. What does the rest of my band think of their favorite candy when they were trick or treating?
I have to say for me, it's always been a toss up between peanut M&Ms and Reese's peanut butter cups.
Great
Those
choices.
but you can always never pass down classic Hershey's milk chocolate.
I could pass them down. I mean, it's nice, but the first two were very good. You ever see they make the big, gigantic Reese's Pieces now? They're like,
oh yeah, I mean,
the size
dude,
of a double
honestly,
cheeseburger.
I think I nearly have had sugar-induced coma because of a few of those.
Before I almost died of diabetes, I was mowing through those things like they just got a bunch of them. I think my parents got a bunch for trick-or-treaters, and like there was a bunch left over, so I just took like multiple bags and was like, nom, 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 nom.
When you're talking about candy,
Yeah.
if I get more popular, I would do something to help out the kids.
Like what?
You know, Jimmy Kimmel has this prank every year that that the parents eat all the kids candy.
Yeah.
They start crying. I would do a commercial said, kids, has your parents eat your candy without you even having a bite?
Yeah.
Do you ever think that you've been wronged big time? Then join the Colonial Penn Candy Insurance Policy with a couple of bucks for an entire year. We could give you all the candy that you want without your parents even touching it.
What if the kids started putting razor blades in the candy just for the parents to eat their candy? What do you think about
No,
something?
that's not good.
Yeah, strike that. Everybody out there listening, forget I said that. That could be a bad move. Yeah.
Yeah, no razor blades for the kids' candy.
There's evidence. You got to use poison or something. I don't know.
No poison.
Okay, no poison either. My God. Just you know, I don't know.
Because nowadays they have marijuana gummies and marijuana chocolates and all that.
How do you feel about that?
Because that's what some people might do, sneak a couple of drugs to the kids, and that's not right.
Should a good
First and foremost, considering how much they are, you don't waste that on the goddamn kids.
Well, I was just gonna say, would a responsible person get candy for the kids and some weed candy for the adults? That'd be kind of a fun neighbor. You know?
Oh, please.
You know,
I
like
would
that?
rather them have a sugar high than to get stoned.
Than a marijuana high?
No, instead of marijuana, I get sugar high.
Have you?
Swagger Dynasty, have you ever been stoned?
No, unless you I was stoned once. New Year's Eve, I was stoned.
This past year?
Not for marijuana, but for a medication called Melril.
Yeah. And how did that
It was the last New Year's Eve of the millennium.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's how you reckon the millennium.
1999.
How did that make you feel?
What?
Being stoned. What was the sensation like for you? Was it just something that you purely didn't like, or was it just a rough ride overall?
I didn't know I was stoned until they
okay.
gave me,
Yeah.
I didn't know I was stoned until they gave me the drug.
What was it called? Norelin?
Melril.
I've never heard of that.
Melril.
What's that supposed to do? Do you know?
It's like for anxiety and all that. It's a
Okay.
medication.
I've heard the name before.
But you're totally against weed, huh? Even though it's legal?
I am against weed.
Weed is like the most God-given substance
That's
there is.
sacrilege.
I don't know. It's they say the burning was weed.
Because
Yeah.
even though I voted for recreational marijuana,
Yeah.
I was doing it in the presence of the end times. And now they're doing, and now I did early voting.
Yeah.
For the general election.
Mm-hmm.
I voted yes for mushrooms.
Yeah. Give the people what they need.
I mean, microdosing, like first it was Colorado, California, and now it's really starting to, take over a little more. And some people are saying how it actually helps for anxiety, depression, bipolar, and it seems like with the whole microdose, a lot of people are seeing tremendous benefits. But, it's all about medicinal versus recreational.
Right. It's interesting.
I don't know about you guys, but the only time I got stoned was when a group of people started throwing rocks at me. So,
That's not true, Alex. I've seen you stoned.
Yeah, I still have the wilts. I still have the wilts from them.
Swagger, how do you feel about drinking?
I'm not that much of a drinker. It's just special occasions I drink. But there's be no alcohol for Halloween.
Yeah, from what I hear.
But a Shirley Temple.
Virgin Shirley Temple, no
Virgin Shirley Temple.
From what I hear, that you lose more brain cells drinking than you do smoking weed. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I know.
But so, and you don't think that weed's kind of a gift from God? I haven't.
No, I don't think weed's a gift from God.
No, a gift from Satanos? Weed that makes people lazy?
The dirty weed always gets to you.
Well, like the fentanyl weed?
I'm not because I want to follow the rules.
It's legal though. It's okay.
I have rules in my apartment.
Oh, okay.
In my mental health program.
Well, yeah. We're not trying to get you to do it. We're just talking about the overall big picture of things. It's kind of acceptable now, you know. And I don't think, and I think it's, you know, alcohol. They got to kind of brew it and do the distilling of it and all that good stuff to make it drinkable. But weed's kind of, it grows in the wild. You pluck it. I don't know. I think it's not a bad thing. Same thing with the mushrooms. You know what I mean?
You
Yeah.
want to get marijuana seeds? Get yourself some wild bird seed.
Oh no, you can't get high off that.
Now you get this marijuana seeds and wild bird seed, and you know grow the marijuana plants.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
stare at the birds.
You know, Swagger was always the dude that was never getting drunk and high backstage when we used to party after shows. He was always on the straight and narrow, you know what I mean? He's a good.
But the thing about it is, at the end of there was only twice a year during my screen park job. Every year my screen park job, I have a drink during movie night and a drink and drinks after the season.
What would you do? Like a beer or like a hard liquor? What would you go for? What would you be reaching for?
I would go for beer and wine.
Beer and wine.
That's one of the only things that were allowed. Beer and wine.
Did you have a preference, or would you just take whatever someone would give you?
Most likely they do what is available.
Yeah.
Because Witches Woods is part of the Neshoba Ski Valley Resort.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my
and
God, I
there's
hadn't
a
thought of
certain
that.
winter ale that goes around.
So yeah, they would provide ale.
Yeah.
I knew you were going to be cool with wine because it's in the Bible. I said, this guy's definitely down with wine. You know,
I'm not a big wine drinker myself. I only do it. I don't do alcohol for special occasions.
Yeah.
But if I'm not doing beer or wine, you can always go for a Cuba Libre.
Okay.
Okay.
You know, Cuba Libre, rum and coke.
Yeah, I love a good rum and coke. I mean,
I also would go for margarita.
The butcher is cracking in coke for breakfast all day long when we were on tour. I don't know what he's doing nowadays, but
he just injects it into his veins, man.
You're a vein injector.
I've actually stopped drinking for the past year.
Good man.
And, I mean, whatever. I mean, people always say rum and coke with me, but you know, I think with rum, you can almost mix anything with it. And
I started drinking Cuba Libres on my 40th birthday.
Kool-Aid?
Oh, Kool-Aid and rum on your 40th?
Cuba Libre, because it was on my 40th birthday. I went to Foxwoods to play the slots, and then there's this bartender with all the drinks in the world, and I choose the rum and coke, also known as Cuba Libre.
Yeah. Now, are you big? Do you like playing the slots whenever you gamble?
I don't do poker. I don't do blackjack.
You do the machine.
I only do slots. But if I have the money for it, mostly I don't.
Yeah.
Have you ever gotten lucky at a slot machine?
Mostly sometimes, but mostly I lose it immediately.
I feel that. I do the penny slots when I do it because I'm a big spender. I like to take the long gamble. You know what I mean? Put it all out there. Penny dot, penny dot, penny dot. We does it big.
When you make it big, bring it back so we can go back on tour. I miss going on tour, dude.
Well, that was a gamble in itself, you know what I mean? But we'll see. I've been talking to the record label recently. They're thinking about maybe sending us back out on a 20th anniversary tour, so we'll see how that goes.
And Rock and Roll Prick broke my bass. I'm still waiting for him to reimburse me.
He fell on it when he was
Hey, when I get the residuals, you get your bass back. That's how it works.
Look at them golden fingers.
Falling belly first, smashing it, then picking it up and smacking the tour manager's face with my stick.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, what can I say? I just love grabbing a stick and using it.
I mean, it's funny. I haven't done this makeup in close to 20 years. I mean, at Tom Savini's program, I was part of his haunted house, and I developed a character called essentially Billy the Butcher.
Yeah.
But, this is the longest my hair's been, so I'm just trying to use it to my benefit to just, and even coming in the light and not set myself on fire.
It's got a little bit of the vibe of the dude from You Can't Do That on Television. Do you remember that show?
Yeah. Alanis Morissette.
Was she from there?
Yep, and he looks like, the butcher looks like Barth. Bartholomew?
Yeah.
Blackburgers?
Exactly. That
was his name. Yeah, Barth.
He's a part of that show, isn't he? That's what I think.
Yep.
Yeah. What are some of your...
Rest his soul.
Oh, he passed away?
Dead for a while.
Years ago.
Sheesh. Well, rest in peace. I know before the show started up, we were talking about some cartoons. What are some of you guys' favorite? We'll start with, of course, Swagger. What are some of your favorite, like, ghostly, it's kiddie, but horror-themed cartoons? You get into any of those?
Movie Goalies, Ghostbusters. Not the real Ghostbusters. I'm talking about Ghostbusters by Filmation.
Yeah.
Not because the Ghostbusters cartoon was derived from the live action series Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
You talking about like the one with the ape in it?
Yep.
With Larry.
Yeah, Larry George.
For sure. I love the real Ghostbusters, though. That's got to be one of my favorite cartoons of all time.
Mine too.
I'm surprised they never tried to reboot that. You know what I mean? It would do what they did that they've been doing the movies lately.
Well, all they need to do is just reissue it, and they have.
They have, but I could see them doing like especially now that like what's his name?
Real Ghostbusters would either be a Roku original or Amazon.
I could see even them landing on Netflix. It's that big, because they're down Egon. I think that they could easily reboot it, keep the same animation, kind of like pretty spot on, and like with new stories, but bring in the voices. Have somebody do, Harold Ramis's voice, but bring in Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. Bring in what's Winston's name? I'm spacing right now.
Ernie Hudson.
They'd all come back and do it. I'd rather see that than a movie, really, and we're never gonna get the full movie with them, but we could get an animated series with them, which would be cool. And I would watch it. I'd actually make sure I watched every episode if they stayed true to the animation and brought back those characters. Hell yeah, dude. I'd be all about that. That'd be a lot of fun. You got Thundercats, of course,
Oh, I cannot wait till they put Thundercats and Silverhawks on MeTV Tunes.
Yeah. Yeah, you were plugging MeTV Tunes pretty big. I didn't even know MeTV was still doing it, but I guess they're killing it. They do it's good. It's actually good to talk about because in the Halloween season, people are up really late. You said it starts at like 11 and goes to like 9 in the morning or something?
No, the broadcasting starts at 6 a.m. It's 24 hours, so it's 24/7.
Okay.
But it's mostly regular cartoons.
Yeah.
But on there's different types of cartoons on Saturdays and Sundays at late night. On the weeknights, in the wee hours of the morning is the Super Marionettes.
I support that.
From 3 a.m. to 6 a.m. on Monday to Friday.
You ever get into like, Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps?
They suck.
Ah! I blew my wig back for crying out loud. You don't like them, huh? They suck. Wow. Why? Why do they suck? In your opinion, good sir.
because they don't show the whole picture of it.
Of what? The story or the actual whole picture?
The actual whole picture.
What do you mean, the whole picture?
You know, because they don't have the monsters do very well. The
Yeah.
only Goosebumps episode that I liked was when there was this family of monsters,
Yeah.
and they're teaching their kids that they were monsters. And
Mhm.
at the end, that father was carrying a cherry pie.
Oh my. You ever get in the Twilight Zone? Tales from the Crypt?
Not that much, because there was a Tales from the Crypt. At the ending was the birth of the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah, that was called Lower Birth. I remember that episode. That was actually, it's considered a classic.
That's the carnival one, right?
Yeah, it's where the two-headed creature has a kid with like a mummy or something.
or something like that, yeah.
In fact, I remember it was like, and here's the episode of my inception, Lower Birth.
You know, back in the 80s and 90s, that's when you would catch really good sitcom Halloween specials. You know what I mean? Family Matters had some great ones, Step by Step. Roseanne had some great Halloween specials. To any Halloween special?
Apple Plus
Yeah.
ruined everything
Apple Plus did?
because no longer that a Charlie Brown Christmas, I meant Halloween, is not on the air. Apple Plus really screwed us over.
Oh, they're a sponsor of the special. My goodness. So I know this Halloween you're getting down. You're doing some handing out candy. You're going to be doing some subs, some pizza, some French fries, and I think what soda was in there.
Yeah, I hope I have the budget for it. But I know if push comes to shove, it's only going to be pizza and soda. But I want to go to pizza, subs, fries, and drinks.
What's your favorite?
Because my mom is only going to give me $100.
That should be able to cover. Yeah.
Here's a question for everyone. What's your favorite style of French fry?
Oh my.
Potato fries.
That's a healthy choice. I can get down with any fry. I know that, let me guess. Billy is going to say a steak fry.
Well, dude, you've known that for years.
Yeah. Let me guess. Rock and roll prick is going to get down with them sweet potato fries.
You just said that.
And I think that my pal Swagger Dynasty maybe gets down with some waffle fries.
Yeah, waffle fries are good, but I'm mostly into the curly Qs.
Curly Qs are good too.
Great. I haven't had those in ages.
And you can't be hating on the onion rings because onion rings are great. Couple weeks.
Onion rings, yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm all about.
I like a good beer battered onion ring every now and then. I haven't had one in ages.
I was at the Basket Cup maybe 2-3 months ago, and they were doing their markdown thing while we were there, and I got a big bag of onion rings for $1. And my God, did I eat fantastic off of onion rings that night. I ate onion rings till I couldn't eat them anymore, and I still had like half a bag the next day. Now, when you want to know what success feels like and happiness, it's when you eat onion rings till you can't eat anymore and you still got like a meal of them worth the next day. That's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful.
Father, daughter, next time you're up by me, I'm going to take you out for onion rings. There's an amazing place close by.
Oh, really? I like that. I definitely get down with that. That's a trick and a treat. So he'll be feasting, and you're just gonna be doing. You're dressing up for it, right? You said.
Yeah, I have, and I just seen the costume, and it's almost like the Terrifier.
Yeah, like Art the Clown, yeah. You know, Art the Clown's killing it in the theatrical world right now. You got to give kudos to it. A film that wasn't a low budget independent horror film that is #1, I think, in the box office. So I got to give kudos to that.
so incredibly happy for Damien and David with their success.
Yeah, Damien's a great dude.
It's amazing what this little independent short that has created, and it's doing incredibly well at the box office. And I found it very, I loved how it basically their budget, and what they have
Stephanie
made
is screwed.
has even surpassed Joker 2.
Yeah,
And
Stephanie is screwed.
That's right.
You know who I'm talking about, Stephanie.
From Terrifier 2?
No, Stephanie.
McMahon?
No, Lady Gaga.
Oh my goodness. She'll be all
Lady
right.
Gaga is shitting her pants right now.
Well,
because Joker Etoile is sucking big time.
Never would have thought I'd seen it. I thought that was going to open up big. It's kind of a weird deal. Like, I know that it wasn't going to be beloved because of, them switching up their whole format to the musical and stuff, but it was like, I didn't think it was going to bomb that hard. You know what I mean?
people were expecting a lot more than what they got.
I remember Todd Phillips didn't want to do a sequel, so I almost feel like he almost sabotaged his own film. We talked to Uwe about it a little bit. We'll talk to him in a little bit, or we already did talk to him, depending on how the zeitgeist of HoRRoRWEEN past happens. But yeah, I wonder if he got like a picture deal where he was like, all right, like I'll do part 2 for you, but you have to promise me that you're gonna fund my next 5 films at this budget, at this like high of a budget before I even do it. And they contracted him to it because from what I hear, I haven't seen it yet. Swagger, did you see it? Because I just heard people saying that it's almost like they tried to make a bad movie.
No, I haven't seen the Joker. I haven't ever seen Joker 1 yet.
Joker 1's good. The first one's good. But the second one, I don't think I've heard one single person say they liked the second one, which is scary because everybody I haven't heard anybody say they didn't like the first one. So like,
I think I didn't like the Joker movies because they didn't have Batman in it.
Yeah, but it's kind of a breath of fresh air to not to have him, I feel, because you got so much Batman in other places, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It kind of cheapens it to bring Batman in a way, even though he's the main villain. But, Joker, he was a villain for even Superman, I think, for a period of time.
Well, I mean, the thing about DC villains is the same thing as Marvel villains.
Yeah, they
is
jump
that
around.
They've been villains for everyone in the universe at least one point.
For sure.
There's always been crossovers.
I'm waiting for the Swamp Thing Batman movie. Sign me up. They do cross paths in their journey too. But yeah, I wonder what the deal is with how that bombed so hard, dude. It's like, and from what I've been hearing, it's like they didn't care, you know what I mean? But that's probably how it goes. So, is this the perfect Halloween for you? Swagger, you're getting back into the festivities. Is there anything else you'd rather be doing?
I gotta get going, all right?
That's for sure. That's why I'm closing. I'm wrapping it up right here. Is there, is this the peak thing for you to be doing on Halloween?
Yep.
I like it. And as he does that, he will be airing to the masses of billions of BoomBastic fans all over the earth celebrating Halloween. We have the Butcher has become the Invisible Man. It was very cool to be able to get the band back together for this little HoRRoRWEEN special. I hope all the fans out there enjoy it. And you heard it here first. The 20th anniversary tour of our album Hot Love is hitting the road, and we're going to be hitting the road, and we're going to be doing a big molten rock, hard, hot love. We're going to have the Butcher with us in the Invisible Man outfit, and Swagger Dynasty, always a pleasure. Great to have you on here. A member of the Wrestle Champ show on the network, too, we got to give a plug to. So kudos, mucho gracias for coming on, and we hope that you have a happy HoRRoRWEEN.
Man, it was great bringing the band back together. Swagger Dynasty, I hadn't seen him in 10 years. Man, he was the greatest drummer I ever worked with. Some say the only drummer I ever worked with. And you might like, who's next? Who's coming in? Back in our day when we were nothing, we were only doing garages, VA halls, and we were lucky only get 5 people in the audience. There was one man that believed in us, that worked with us, and knew how to get the audience ready for rock and roll music. And that was Insane Shane McKane. The man who put country in country rap. Hell yes. And he is coming next, and he's going to say how it is, and you're gonna like it. Oh yeah.
Insane Shane McKane. Welcome.
Boom. That's what's it. There it is. I'm here. The last guy was religious. I am spiritual.
There you
Okay.
go.
That's what we need to combat the negative forces of this evil holiday, Halloween. Now, I'm just keeping it real. The truth is pure, like the Coke I used to snort. Really yellow, really good, not speedy, not been stepped on. That truth is that my inner child is scared of the way you guys look. And there's a very good chance that I may wake up in the middle of the night in the fetal position, sobbing like an infant.
Oh my. Well, we're the world famous Father's Prick rock and roll band.
Okay.
You know, right here. I'm the lead singer, father daughter, of course, doing it big. I got we've got our guitarist, the Golden Fingers rock and roll prick, over here to my right.
Oh, that's what's up, man. Look at this.
You see that? And then down below we have the Butcher, our bass player, doing it big.
I love it. I love it.
Doing it. Our drummer has left the building. You know, he was a little religious. He had to pop off. He's doing some Bible studies. The great Swagger Dynasty drummer extraordinaire is no longer with us in the physical, but he's still here with us spiritually on the HoRRoRWEEN 2025.
Oh shit, that sounds a little cryptic. I mean, that sounds a little too little.
Oh yeah. So how you doing over there?
I'm okay, man. I'm doing what I'm doing. Rocking out with my cocking out, just chilling here. What's that, homeboy?
You want to join us in the band?
Shane's his own band. He's got his own deal. He don't want to get that.
He is his own.
We toured with Shane many moons. Yeah, many moons.
Yeah, I'm just an eccentric solo performer. I don't play well with others. Never have.
Yeah.
And yeah, I've tried to put bands together, but they never really gel. I always tell people it always turns into a garage band, and I always pray that there's a car running in the other bay and I don't have to be there. Problem solved. You know how we do.
That's right.
So, all right, now let's get focused here, because this is about Halloween. This is an evil fucking holiday, am I right?
That's right.
I gotta say, man, there is some serious booty in the house. First of all, I want to just declare that I do have, and you know this about me, I have spirituality. I used to be a Buddhist. So you do know that, right?
Oh, yeah.
All right. But then I would do the stretching and the meditations and all that Tina Turner, Namyo Renke, Yomi. And then it just was, and the girls in the leotards getting in all these provocative positions. So I created an offshoot of Buddhism, and I called it Buddhism. And it's a little more geared to the physical than the spiritual. But that is what keeps me grounded and keeps all the evil spirits away. I want to talk about the most evil spirit, and there's some good booty in the house. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm looking around and spiritually speaking. I hit these bitches with everything but a backhand. That's it. Who put the massage in misogynistic?
Worship the badonkadonk and you'll never go wrong.
Glory.
You got a red ring. Yeah, sneaking south for some little red lipstick. Oh, yeah. All right. Yeah, there's some people, they're getting right next to me, like in my bubble. So it's official to disturb them and ruin their evening. I hate the fact that I'm going to do it. It's a dirty job. Someone's got to do it. There's some dirty holes here. Someone got to screw it. I am not a social influencer. I am an anti-social influencer. I'm trying to lay it out, to let people know that this Halloween coincides with the emerging of the evil forces. Like Reagan said, the evil empire. Jim Brady is a bitch. Ask the broccoli. It's that intense. Okay? You guys look mesmerized, man.
And we're going to talk trickle down economics. Come on. Talk about it with us, boys and girls, because we know Reagan loves trickle down economics.
Hell yeah.
I love Reagan. Reagan was so awesome. One time, just to tell you guys, back in the day, they had like this parody contest. And I wrote a Reagan rap song. And I imitated Reagan to the hilt. And we drank a whole bunch of Jack Daniels. And we had some studio time. And I didn't have a fucking song to record. So we recorded this Reagan rap song. And it was the Howard Stern parody contest. And, and whoever, like back then it was like cassette tapes, I think.
Yeah.
And they took the tape of it and somebody went down to the city and threw it like in this huge bin with tons and tons of tapes. And only the best ones got played on the radio. And I got played. They played it.
Well, the big question
awesome.
I have for you, Mr. ISM, have you even been able to order a drink since you got there, or have you been talking to us this entire time? Good man. Good man.
Fucking kidding. Listen, I love your show and all, but let's get our priorities straight.
Did you see that documentary on Dahmer?
On Netflix?
I've seen a couple, what about him? What are you going to tell me? Did he put out a cookbook?
There's from American Horror Story, Evan Peters did an amazing fucking depiction of Dahmer that just came out within the past year on Netflix.
Netflix, yeah. Monsters. They got the...
and I think they're doing Gacy next.
I think so.
Yeah, that shit. It's honestly, guys, it's so fucking dark that I almost can't watch it,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you know the weirdest thing about it? Not to get... Well, it is Halloween. I get a little dark. So, as Shane McKane, like, I have had... And, it's like Voltaire. God is a comedian playing to an audience of people that's afraid to laugh. Like, I have had everything that a rock star gets except the big money. Like, I still, like, if I say something like, hey, they're like, oh, you're into music? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I started country rap. Shane. Oh, are you that guy? Insane Shane McKane? I still got that. I still get it, still to this day. But the point I was trying to make is I had a stalker. I had a fucking stalker. He was a sniper in Iraq. I had a fucking stalker.
Yeah, that's the worst person you want for a stalker.
Oh, it couldn't be like some hot chick with big tits that broke into my house and was like, you need to fuck me and impregnate me. And I'm like, listen, you're either going to call the cops or I'm going to fuck you up the butt. And then just let you leave. And you can come back. So the point being, these guys like Gacy and Dahmer, like these fuckers, in order to catch them, DN fucking A, which is how everybody gets caught now. Yeah. But back in the day, you had psychological profilers. You had to learn how these fucking dudes thought, so you could predict what they were going to do and how you could maybe be preemptive, predict, and then kind of head them off and figure out what they were going to do, where they were going to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm here to tell you guys, and it's kind of sad, but when you have a delusional, demented, distorted fucking stalker, you try to reason with the person, like, and then you realize that what it is that your thinking is different than what they're thinking. They're not thinking the same way you're thinking.
Yeah.
They want something. You're giving them what they want. You think you're reasoning with them, but you're not. They have a different thing. What it is that they want might be acknowledgement, might be to see that you're scared. They don't want you to say, listen, fuck off. You're a sick fuck and I'll fucking end you. They like that because you're acknowledging them. They matter. Now you are the focus. They're running your emotions as known as you are. They are the most important thing to someone that is important to others. And that's the weird thing about these Gacy's and Dahmers. Like, they're not thinking the way you and I think.
You can't reason
like
with
No, you can't.
And that's
they're
what's
predators.
Scary. I mean, I have dealt with this as well. When you can't reason with someone, that is the ultimate fear. You want to be able to be on the same wavelength and hopefully nip it in the ass. Sometimes you can't, and that's when it gets terrifying. So I completely understand where you're coming from. I've had both and female stalkers, and it's scary.
You got it, because at that point, there's no there's no way out. There's no verbal volley. There's no reason. There's no anything. You're talking about you want to nip it in the ass, and they're looking at you like rump roast.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to nip this in the ass, and they're thinking, wow, I want to eat half his butt cheek. Yeah, that's like the other day, man. You know, I was working on my house. You know, I was in my zone, and I went up to my other building, and there was a fucking huge coyote, fucking 10 feet from me, staring right at me. And that look in his eye was like, you are potentially fucking food.
Yeah. Same look.
Yeah, and that's real. So I was like, all right, I have to morph into understanding how this other mammal wants to have a dynamic with me. And I was like, okay, but I have more cranial space than you there, G-O-double-G. And I also have a circular saw in my hand. And if you jump at me, I'm going to gut you and use you as a fucking winter rug. Yeah. And I let out a huge carnal roar, just like I do when I come running out of the bathroom in my rooster thong. And this fucking thing ran. Yeah. He ran like a fucking, like a little puppy. I was like, D-O-double-G, that's me.
He ain't dumb. He ain't a dummy.
He ran, bro. He ran.
Power saw. You know,
I didn't see him again.
We were lucky enough. We got another roundabout. I think it was the first time for these other two gentlemen, but we did a new movie star with the Insane Shane McKane in it. The Wicked Hollows, doing it big. Shane came out, did a glorious cameo for us. Just wanted to bring that up. It's always nice. Everybody
came out there. I brought my A game. Okay, I really didn't
register ever.
What's up,
I did
Bill?
what I had to do, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I told you, man. You know, I'm a good man and a bad boy, and I really do think I told you this, Matt. I told you that, you know, I'm a little eccentric. I mean, I have been a little eccentric over the years, but then I realized as I grow older that I wasn't really eccentric. I was triple eccentric, which is like manic and sexy at the same time and pretty unstable. And you always showed up for me, man. You were always there, and you never really judged me. You were like, yeah, Shane he's a genius and he's great at what he's doing, but he's like really fucking just bipolar. You just don't know where you are with him. He's just so up and he's so crazy. He's so insane. So I really stage of the game where I have balanced the buzz, close, and now, you know, I don't do Insane Shane McKane like a drug. I let him out. You know, I let the genie out of the bottle. But the whole ADD point of this was that I felt that you were owed a gesture of loyalty, and there's motherfuckers that walk the walk. But to get in my vehicle and drive all the way to fucking Boston and back in the same day to come up there and help you in your vision and contribute what I could was a statement. And I stand by it. I said it that day, I say it today. Whatever you do with the film, I did that for you. I didn't do it for me. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, appreciate it. It's always a pleasure working with Shane. We got Jeremy in the chat just chimed in, said hello. He played Stupaman in the Stupaman film all those years ago. So
Oh shit.
yeah, a little reunion. So shout out Jeremy, JT doing it big.
Yo, old school.
Old school. You
That's
guys,
it. Back in the inception of BoomBastic.
that's right, dude. You guys shared many a good scenes together.
Step.
You can check that out on the Patreon page. Doing it nice.
That's cool.
You know.
I'm glad you're just raising the bar. You're continuing to hone your craft and manifest your visions and do creative projects and it's awesome. And I hope, without really, I don't talk much about my projects anymore, but I can only say that hopefully you shoot for the top, see where you stop, hopefully watch the mic drop. But I heard a good quote the other day and it said, if you set your goals super high, even if you fail higher than most people succeed. Good enough for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if Trump wins the election, I have good, insulate myself from liability, I will continue to try to do, my reality TV show. But at the end of the day, man, incrementally, I'm moving toward it. And quite honestly, if it's the perfect storm, it'll happen.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I got some backup ideas. But as I said, shoot for the top, see where you stop, and watch the mic drop.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get to see that reality show because I've heard about it and I think it's got the potential to be really good. Something that'll catch like wildfire, you know what I mean? America would love it. The whole world probably.
I think so. And it's funny. There's the way life should be, and then there's the fucking way it is. And I can honestly say that until within maybe the last 5 years, only then did I kind of find that homeostasis, balance. That's where homies get balanced. Homeostasis.
Yeah.
And I found that, and now I'm good. Now I could actually handle that degree of fame. It wouldn't really faze me much, what is it? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. I'm at the top of my game. If you told me, oh, you're going to go on Stephen Colbert or Jimmy Kimmel tomorrow night, yeah, I'd sleep like a rock. I'd go on there and I'd fucking hold my own and I wouldn't be phased and it would be a great segment and it wouldn't faze me at all,
Yeah.
Or, I ended up at Mar-a-Lago hanging with Trump. I'd be like, my man, I'd love to play golf, but I swing, the thing like a hatchet. I couldn't. Secret Service would think I was trying to kill you. I can't go out there. So you go hit the ball, and I'm going to stay back at the lodge with my wood and my balls and bang all of your wife's friends, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Well, Mr. ISM, for
I would.
you,
I'd get drunk and I'd kid rock. I would. His buddy.
for you,
Oh, yeah.
Shane McKane.
What I'm very curious, what does ISM do for the Halloween season? You do anything special or you just kind of regular day for you? What's the deal?
Dude, bro, you know what I mean? I mean, quite honestly, dude, I'm kind of an outspoken dude, and if I wear my bling, and it's almost like every day is a little bit of Halloween for me, when I'm out. Because really, if you think about it, when you have a persona, to some degree, you're always in a pseudo costume of some sort. So personally, what I do now on Halloween is I had a shirt made at the mall. It was like $50, and it's black and it's got the orange pumpkin, that color,
Yeah.
And on the front it says in big letters, "My shirt chooses to identify as a costume." Yeah, and on the back it has a picture of a pumpkin with a knife that's going to cut it, but the pumpkin looks upset and there's blood on the knife, and it says, Stop pumpkin violence.
That's a
So once
bill
again,
right
man, I'm just fucking. And then I go out and I have a few beers and I look at people's costumes but I'm not really big on Halloween. I don't know. It's kind of freaky, you know, because you don't recognize people.
I mean, we wear masks. I mean, it gets tribal. You know, it turns into something that that's primitive.
Does
And
Shane McKane catch himself drinking Pumpkinhead beer or anything festive like that on that night? Does he
Well,
break from the norm?
no, really, no, honestly, dude. I'm drinking pumpkin ale now in honor of your podcast because
Hell yeah.
it's geared to Halloween, and I thought, this would be nice to drink some pumpkin ale, come on the show, see you guys in your fucking epic costumes, which is pretty dope.
Hell yeah.
well, I'm breaking second. I just remembered within the past 7 days was like the 36th anniversary of Pumpkinhead, which I think is a character that doesn't get enough love. And the great late Stan Winston, who designed so many amazing effects, directed that movie. Pumpkinhead is a movie everyone should see. And you should have your fucking Pumpkinhead ale and a piece of pumpkin pie and sitting on your pumpkin patch.
Whoa.
Joy.
Getting Pumpkinhead. Yeah.
Is it a real movie? I mean, I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
It's a classic from the mid 90s, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because Stan Winston was second.
Is it on Netflix?
I'm not
Probably
sure
on Tubi.
Netflix, but it's probably on Peacock because
Lance Hendrickson's in it.
Yeah, Lance Hendrickson.
Yeah, I don't have any of that shit. All I have is fucking Netflix and YouTube, and mostly I watch YouTube, man. I'm really up on the whole political thing that's going on. I really stay up on it, down with it, and I'm totally into it. And my whole career, I always stayed very docile, very just apolitical. Never really got into it, but now I'm really into it, and I'm loving the fact that it causes so much controversy.
Yeah,
like as a shock star,
Right.
can't get enough. Oh, I love it.
Well, yeah, you're a very controversial figure, so yeah, you're like right at home with it. You know what I mean?
And you're probably reveling in it with everything.
I am.
Just so like from a writing purpose, of stuff that you can come up with, because there's so much fertile ground in politics, and it's so insane that you can truly pick and choose, who you want to go after or what side to basically go balls to the wall out. I mean, the right, it's picking for the ripe right now.
Have you thought about like some current time inspired music? I mean, something like that could go super viral nowadays. You know what I mean?
Well, you know what? I should have.
Yeah.
I should have done that, because this really was like, if you remember the last, right before COVID, when I took a shot at trying to, do this reality TV show.
Yeah.
In New York, and had the gym rented, and, everything was really good. I had made a lot of really high up connections in the boxing world, which I was really surprised about. But then the one thing I did not predict, and I got into like USA Boxing and onto like, this dude put me on his site and, posted what I was going to do. And people did not want to fight. They wanted to argue on social media. A lot of people didn't want to acknowledge that they were into Trump. They wanted to be couch warriors, but nobody wanted to fight. I didn't see that. Now, I got to tell you, I'm here to tell you, bro, at this point, people want to get in the ring and beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I have never seen so much political divide and so much heated fucking controversy. I'm fucking worried. Like, if I actually do this show, like when I started country rap, when I produced the record as executive producer and musical co-producer, I was meticulous to the point of ridiculous. And one of the main concerns I have in literally attacking this project is that people are going to come in and they're not going to adhere to the rules, and they're going to hurt the other individual. And what they're going to have to sign, what they're going to have to look at, visually, they're gonna get like a visual orientation, a set of parameters, a set of consequences and repercussions. They're gonna know, man, that if you break the law, you go outside the rules, and you harm the other person, we're stopping everything. Calling the cops, and you're going to fucking jail. It's that fucking simple. Like, either you play by the fucking rules, or you will suffer the criminal penalties for what you just did.
Yeah.
That is my biggest fucking concern. That people are going to get in the ring, and it's not going to be a celebration of patriotism. It's going to be a fucking grudge match of red and blue, with the goal being to make the other person black and blue.
Right.
Which, by the way, is a great line. I'm going to have to use that.
I couldn't agree more with what you're saying, and it's almost like we're trying to move ahead, but it's like now we're almost going back to like barbarian times, and we actually wouldn't be opposed to actually constructing something and getting in a ring. And it's like, I thought we were past this, but I don't.
No, we're past that, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
And you know why? It's in our DNA. We are warlike creatures. That's why sports exist. It's a socially acceptable way of catering to that side of who we are as mammals, as animals. Still, it's in our DNA. We are a warlike creatures. We're aggressive. You know, I hate saying it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And, you know, and this thing, I mean, we'll see what happens. So I don't even want to really get too much into it, because as I said, I've done enough talking about the things that are going to happen. What I can tell you is that if it's the perfect storm, I personally and financially have made the right moves where I'll be able to manifest this.
Yeah.
If he gets into office, all I can say is the only way it goes forward is if I go to the correct attorneys with the right questions and feel comfortable about how to present it and how to insulate myself from liability, the same way a tough man competition does. If I get that and I feel okay about it, I'll proceed. And I already know what I'm going to do. I mean, I got the fucking theme song, Windsor, without the vocals. Perfect. I have all the taglines. I got my spinning gunfighter mic. I got my persona. You know how I look on film. Like, I'm the dude to do this. You get go up close and personal on your fly phone. Who is the man on demand droid? Laying it down. It's going to be crazy. You know what I'm saying?
For a second, I forgot all about the spinning microphone, dude. I missed the spinning microphone. I want to see more of the spinning microphone.
Now, when I'm in the ring with that thing, and you hear the sound bite, you know?
Yeah.
Live rock, smash it, the pebbles, watch the king take the game to new levels. You ready to party with the ultimate rebel? Don't see door with shit, you dance with the devil. Kid, it's like, what the fuck? Dude. Boom, check it out. I'm back, spinning the mic like John Wayne on crack. I was made for this shit, bro.
Yeah,
this is my time. It's fucking high time. It's fly time.
I know Insane Shane McKane would never want to put on a Halloween costume, but has he ever had like a lady friend or maybe a groupie toast that wore a nice, colorful outfit before the act of, sexual orientation, we'll say here?
Well, yeah, I mean, the girl I used to roll with, man, the hottest stripper in 3 fucking counties, you know, that I was like, yo, you need a fucking name. You're like a pornographic princess. I'm going to call you Snow White Trash. And she always represented. You remember? You met her.
I remember her, yeah.
Oh, man, I can tell you, she had that tramp stamp over the back of her caboose. Oh, I would look at that caboose and let loose the juice.
I get a question for Shane.
Yeah.
That thing was always beautiful. I always poured vitamin E oil on it every fucking night, man.
The thing of beauty of Badonkadonk, especially in that tramp stamp. But the one thing to follow that up is usually in the bedroom, sometimes we like to bring a little maybe candy or whipped cream in there and stuff like that. My question for you, Shane.
I brought nose candy and it fucked for hours till I had a heart attack.
What
He's a ghost. Happy Halloween.
What is your favorite type of candy? Like actual candy?
I mean, if you're asking me really, what is my favorite real
Yeah.
candy besides, good Coke? I mean, I don't fuck with Coke anymore because I smelled it so much, it almost killed me. You know what I mean? I was like redneck Roman, made of the right stuff. Hi, hit the lamp. Then go to white stuff. No problemo. I ain't hooked on it. You can't get addicted if you can't afford it. No. So really, honestly, man, my favorite candy, I have to say, still to this fucking day, man, when I was a little kid, and still to this day, is a Reese's peanut butter cup.
Fuck yes.
Yeah.
That was rock and roll prick. Love them too up here to my right. He was all about them. Yeah, Reese's Pieces.
Yeah, no.
How do you eat a Reese's, Shane?
Oh, how do I eat it? Oh, all right. I'm fucking glad you asked me that question because most people be like, what do you mean? That's legit. There's only one way to eat a Reese's. The same way you eat a pussy. You go around the edges, you know what I mean? Go around the edges, round the edges, round the edges. And then once you had all of that, then you gobble in the middle. You get on that cup. Get on it.
Hell yeah. Well, Shane, always a pleasure. Happy Halloween.
Thank you, brother.
When you give him his little treat, make sure you say trick or treat to him. Let him know the Halloween season's coming. You know what I mean?
Shit.
The trick or treaters, that could be fentanyl in the marijuana, they say.
Oh, yeah, it's so fun. I don't even go there. No, I'm just gonna have like strippers, knock on my bedroom door. I'm just gonna open the door. Oh, they're gonna go like, dick to eat, dick to eat. And I'm gonna be like, okay, there you go. Where are my balls like a King Tut beard? There you go. Ah, shit. Good girl. All right. On that politically incorrect fucking note.
All right. We'll see you later, man. Thanks for coming on.
Peace out, dude. Thank you so much.
Always a pleasure, man. Good to chat with you guys. Keep it real.
Peace on the side.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I hope you enjoyed this Halloween special. I know that myself and my friends had fun doing it for you. But since it's time to close out and end the day, I think it's time for me to go back to just little old Alex. Every good thing comes to an end, and it is the end of the day. Time to remove the wig, which I'm sure everyone saw was kind of a bit of a hassle. Never was a huge fan of wigs, but sometimes you gotta suffer for your art, right? But anyway, it was fun. Enjoyed spending this time with you. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, my friends, and everyone we had on the show. Until next year. Rock on!